chat room. Oh, yeah. Got some of that American soda. Cherry Coca-Cola, no sugar. That's my shit right there. Sugar-free soda is legit my fave. I don't like diet soda because I don't like aspartame. But the stuff that's like no sugar that has some other sweetener in it. I feel like it's normally a little bit of aspartame because it still tastes a little aspartame. Well, here, let's look at the ingredients. Carbonated water, caramel color, phosphoric acid, aspartame, there it is. Potassium benzoate to protect taste, natural flavors. I am never going to be able to pronounce this. Acesulfame, potassium citrate, caffeine. Okay. Phenylketonurics. I never. Hi, guys. It's good to see you all. I just need to have a little bit of sanity in my life today. So I feel like watching some Noah fucking Samson. Are you guys into that? I don't suppose I have any of my mods in chat, do I? Oh, you know what? I didn't even post in... I'm the worst streamer today. I'm gonna do my very best to make a stream announcement. Rana already did, like a beautiful, beautiful soul, whom I don't deserve even remotely. Bungie Fox, thank you so much. It looks like that.
Bungie Fox Sparkler, hello.
We still haven't fucking fixed the shit. I always go in and I always look and I'm like, no, it should be good. I undo them, I redo them. It's, ugh. I don't know. I'm gonna need to just have Josiah come hang out with me at some time. Sholin Monkey, thank you so much. Thank you.
Sholin Monkey Sparkler, before my surgery, the anesthesiologist offered to knock me out with gas or a boat paddle. It was an either-or situation.
Wait, what? Am I the worst? I just realized that I can't fucking send. I can't send. Whatever. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. You love Noah? I also love Noah. Doxy trying to pronounce my future new wave fan name. Yeah. It's good to see you, by the way, Stove. Hi. Either or. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was only listening because I'm like looking and trying to make things good. Mich 3694 or Dry Zex Neun Fear. I don't know why I just assumed you were German, but I did, and I guess that's on me. Pun is too highbrow for Doxy. No. I was only listening. I wasn't reading. Anyway, welcome, Mich or Mitch or Mish or however it's pronounced. Please, by all means, give us a pronunciation guide. We will follow it. Welcome. Everybody make sure that they feel welcome. Thanks for coming by and checking us out today. Do you guys like this setup better or this setup? Which one do you prefer? Hi Doxy, I got another job. That's why I've not been around. I work 8 to 4 p.m. EST Monday to Friday and am with the BF on weekends. Yo, you never have to explain to me. I want you out there living your best life 100%. Don't even feel remotely bad. German was tough for you in high school? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Hi, J-Rod. This one that we're on right now, you like better? I suppose I can move this so that those letters are easier to read. I have a very hard announcement to make. I feel like a failure and a loser and a promise breaker, but I'm not going to be able to do this market bag on stream. Just because you have to pay attention to every single stitch that you make. And it's really hard to tell where you are in it. So this is one that I will have to make off stream. I'll still make it and I'll still put it in the shop because I know a lot of people were looking forward to it. But there's no way that I'm going to be able to pay attention to 1, content, 2, the crochet pattern, and 3, chat room all at the same time. There's just no way. It just cannot be done. Not with my like untreated. If I get ADD meds, then we can give it a try again in the future, maybe. Yeah. So what, and another thing, another reason that I am not wanting to do that is because, Josiah's mom saw my cloak that I made, my hooded cloak, and, she wants one. So I immediately, like before she even said that she wanted one, I had already ordered the yarn to make her one. So that's what this is. I'm starting from the very beginning. This is a pattern that is, this pattern is not free, but I will link you guys to it. If you give me just a moment. I wish that I ever fucking thought about the shit that I'm going to need to type before I put away my keyboard. But nah. Y'all know your girl. She ain't doing it. Give me one moment to find it really quickly. It's from Maggie's Crochet, and that bitch emails me every day at least once. I shouldn't call her a bitch. I fucking love Maggie Crochet. I absolutely adore her. She puts out different free patterns all the time, and they're all really good, and she deserves every cent that she makes. I just wish she didn't email me every single day. I just wish that. Maybe. Okay. I just have to find I forgot what I was saying in the middle of saying it. I apologize. Hell yeah. Okay, so if I could just get J-Rod, if I could get you to put this in the pattern, in the bot under pattern, and then give me 1 second. Could someone please just type Noah in chat? Just Noah. I didn't prepare dick. I was too excited to hang out with chat. Also, I have not taken a single sip of this yet. Thank you, Rana. Okay, I hope that this just brings me to Noah Samson very quickly, but no promises.
Hi everyone, it's
No, stop. I don't have. Yeah, this is what we want. Okay, I found Noah Samson right away. We're gonna subscribe on the channel. I will go ahead and activate his trap card. What if we did it in Chrome instead, so that... No. Unnecessary. As a writer, I'll have a specific plot device going on in a story, and then I'll have 80 different scenarios that have nothing to do with the story want to play out my head like, oh, hey. Yeah, no. I super get that. Telling real life stories is like that for me. Telling stories that, like, happened for real and actually. If y'all ain't familiar with Noah Samson, you're about to get familiar. He's amazing. We stan. So, J-Rod, if I could have you... In mod chat, there's a pin that has instructions for how to change the bot. Yeah, hell yeah. And then for the content, if I could have you post Noah baby as well. And I say baby as a non-condescending, non-sexual way. Like, yeah, baby. Like the colloquial, yeah, baby. Noah baby. Noah baby. I'm very sorry. I cannot believe that Canadian conservatives are even fucking dumber than American conservatives, but here we are. That's just the reality that we live in. Jesus Christ. Okay. So do we want to watch him address the issues that exist within BreadTube? The debate bros, Vosh and the like. I think that it's no secret to you guys that I'm not a big Vosh stan. I just don't like that guy. And I don't think that anybody that does like him is stupid, because I do think that he's very, very good at explaining things that are hard to understand in a way that is a lot more accessible. And he's a smart dude. I do not think that he's dumb. I don't like how smug he gets, and he just puts out a vibe that I am not into. Bulletproof Rosie, thank you so much for resubbing. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. You have to do both kinds of change pattern, J-Rod. You have to do the tilde and the exclamation. Does that make sense? You have to do both of them. And then you have to do that with change content also. Excuse me. Also, hi, Moth. Anyway, do you guys want to see the debate bro video, or do you guys want to start with manosphere stuff? What do you prefer? We'll start with a practical guide to leftist YouTube, if we do the BreadTube rabbit hole. But there's all kinds of, like, there's the misogyny content, and then there's the leftist drama content. So vote yay for misogyny content, vote nay for manosphere leftist drama content. Hug is way better. You're not wrong. We have one yay and one nay. I knew it would 50-50 immediately. You didn't understand the votes? Okay, so Noah Sampson is a video essayist. It said it changed, but it's still the old one. Did you do both? Hold on. You did do both. You know what? Fuck it. Who cares? Who cares? We're just not going to care. We're only going to be live for like 2.5 hours tonight, so. Me and Josiah are going on a date at midnight. And by on a date, I mean we're going for a walk at midnight. Which is still going to be very romantic, but then after that, we don't get to hang out together, so. I'll try to figure it out. Please don't feel obligated. Anyway, so Noah Sampson is a video essayist, and he covers a wide variety of topics. I've never found a topic that I've disagreed with him on yet. I'll let you know if that ever happens. But I really like his content, and I think that he is very digestible, and he has a fun sense of humor. So there's a couple of topics that he covers throughout several videos. And one of those topics is like misogyny, manosphere stuff, pickup artist stuff. And one of those topics is the problem with like debate bros on the left, essentially. Leftist YouTube and the drama within. So if you want to watch the misogyny content, vote yay. If you want to watch the leftist drama, vote nay. That's what's up. Is Man Saturday or whatever it's called part of the manosphere? I have no idea. Okay, we now have 2 for leftist drama. 3, 4. Okay, yeah, I think that people are more, and you know what? We probably will do all of it. It just probably won't all be today. Here we go.
Do you like Rachel Maddow?
This is our boy Noah. He's a good boy. He looks so much like one of my ex-boyfriends. It's wild. From like when I was his age. It's wild how much he looks like him. Anyway. Oh, and you changed your vote to nay. Okay. All right, perfect. Well, I think that makes it unanimous. So, we're going to do the leftist branch for now. I'm sure that we will watch every fucking Noah video at some point because I am a filthy leftist. And so is Noah. All right, here we go. I want to be crocheting. I will keep an eye on you guys and what y'all have to say. But if I could just, we only have 19 people in here. If I could just get 3 readies, that would make me feel an awful lot better about starting right now. I need to make a ready emote, hey? Thank you.
Do you like Rachel Maddow? What about Karl Marx? Did you or someone you know post a BLM square? Be honest. Does seeing Bernie Sanders make you go, hey, this is Bernie Sanders. I love that guy. Is Orange Man bad? Joe Biden bad too? Do you like watching this beautiful baby boy get pwned? If you answered yes to any of these questions, well, congratulations, you've won. You might be a leftist. or a liberal, or a tanky, or some other combination between all of those things. In which case, this video is for you. Hi, my name's Noah, and as the title suggests, this is my practical guide to leftist YouTube. You might be asking, Noah, what's leftist YouTube? And I'd say, just wait a second, I'll tell you. And then you'd say, okay, sorry for interrupting. And then I'd say, all right, thanks. Leftist YouTube is a loose category of video essayists, streamers, and content creators whose work is often informed by leftist politics or theory. But a better way to put it is some YouTubers who sometimes make leftist content, because they make other stuff too. People like to use the term BreadTube, which is a reference to an old book and the name of the largest leftist YouTube subreddit, but since there's conflicting opinions on who and what BreadTube is, and all the largest creators associated with it want nothing to do with it, I think the general term leftist YouTube is a little more useful. So that's what I'm going to be using. I was inspired to make this last month when I discovered this part of YouTube and was absolutely blown away at how good the videos are, and how I'd somehow never heard about it, and a lot of people I know hadn't either. So basically I've worked on this project for a month straight just for it to end up saying, hey, check that shit out. I sent you something. Check it out. Look at the thing I sent you. Hey, watch the link. I sent you a link. But my goal here is twofold. First, create a resource for people who might be leftist adjacent but haven't discovered any leftist creators on YouTube yet. The second goal is to connect people who are already familiar with the space with other great leftist creators that they haven't found yet, including some smaller and more theory-focused channels. The leftist YouTube community has smart, funny, talented people giving their perspectives on every topic: class, race, immigration, trans and non-binary rights, feminism, political theory,
making
film
a
and media
cape for
critique,
Josiah's
whatever issues
mother.
most resonate with you.
Is this better?
Out there is making some
or is
great
it still
content
a little bit
about
too much?
them. Unless they aren't, in which case you should do
This
that.
actually right here should be
Start
about
a YouTube
balance.
channel.
Should be
your own
where
boss.
it
Become a business empire mogul.
where it
Your
need
own
to be.
boss hog. Supply and demand. It's the free market, baby. Trickle down economics.
Sounds good. Okay.
I'm Ron
Excellent.
Paul, and I approve this message. I think it makes the most sense to sort leftist content creators by the format of their work. This is not a hard science, but generally we have 5 different categories: video essayists, live streamers, commentary channels, news channels, and
I'm a little
theory
quiet,
tube,
or
which is
the
a term I
video's
just
a little
made up.
quiet?
And then at the end we'll look at some really great smaller channels, most of which are like 10 times my size, but you know, smaller in relation to the bigger ones. So group 1,
Video is a little quiet now? Okay.
essayists. These creators are some of the most prominent and influential to leftist YouTube. They're often credited with driving the movement into the mainstream, making it legal to say controversial things on YouTube, like trans people are real,
How's
or
that?
racism. Why don't we cut it out?
Is this better
Maybe.
balanced now?
This list includes ContraPoints, H-Bomber Guy, Sean, PhilosophyTube, Big Joel, 3 Arrows, and Innuendo Studios. There are plenty more, of course, but these are the people I feel like are the best to start watching because their content is the most accessible and composed, and honestly just some of the best stuff on the platform, in my IMO. Everyone here clearly puts an extensive amount of time and effort into the research, writing, and overall production of their work, and this creates videos that are timeless and also incredibly useful. You can send their work to pretty much anyone, and assuming that person has a little time to sit down and watch, the videos do a great job of informing, entertaining, and potentially changing someone's mind or brain. First up, we have Natalie Wynn, aka ContraPoints. ContraPoints is arguably the most visible and influential channel to leftist YouTube. She's one of the few people to have received mainstream coverage for her work on the platform, specifically her role in preventing young, disaffected men from falling down YouTube's alt-right rabbit hole. One of the ways she's been able to accomplish this, which is also what makes her videos especially important, is that she approaches every topic with empathy. She goes above and beyond in understanding all sides of a conflict and portraying the human element of why these conflicts exist and why they so rarely come down to a good versus evil binary. That's on top of being very funny and having some of the most well-produced, uniquely artistic videos on YouTube. In the spirit of great production value, I'm wearing a fake mustache right now. I just installed it today for this video. The subject matter is rarely single actions or events. Instead, she addresses the underlying ideologies that are to blame. Transphobia, fascism, racism, sexism, transmedicalism, homophobism. You know, listing out all these isms is so tiring. Can we get rid of one? Just one. Please, guys, stop with the ism ContraPoints is one of the few channels that I can comfortably say you should watch all of her videos. There's only 28 of them. That's barely 2 Breaking Bad seasons. Don't act like you didn't do that at least once in the past year with the hot Cheetos in your hand, you little sick little freak.
Hey, Rain, how are you?
Kiss me. But in the interest of keeping things practical,
Instagram
here are
today.
5 videos from ContraPoints that I recommend you watch and why. Her most viewed video is a deep dive into the incel community titled Incels, and it's a good example of all the things that make ContraPoints videos special. A deep understanding of the topic, which she then relays to us, the persistent hilarious interjections, that empathy thing I was just talking about.
In this video, I don't want to mock incels or lecture them or even sympathize with them. I just want to understand who they are and why they're like this.
And of course, the artistic flair in what you see while you watch. She very thoroughly maps out the incel worldview and then speaks directly into the camera in an attempt to get through to them. It is powerful stuff. If you want to know why conservatives freak out over pronouns and why it's really stupid, watch this.
Are all of us deluded about my
I did not love her
biology?
most recent video.
No, it is not
I was
I
sad.
who misunderstands biology, Ben Shapiro.
I need to watch it
It is
again.
you who misunderstands language. You have deceptively framed the debate as a debate about biology, which it is not. We all agree on the biology. The actual subject of the debate is the proper use of words, such as he, she, man, and woman.
Ben Shapiro has been quiet ever since.
So we are going to indoctrinate children into the wonders of various sexual orientations and the complete relativity of human sexuality.
Just kidding, of course he hasn't. But this video really does point out the massive flaw in reasoning behind pronoun hysteria, and dunks on our little baby boy in the process. For a remarkably nuanced view of J.K. Rowling's latest
I'm almost never on there, but
goofs, shall we
I don't
call
follow
them,
a
watch
lot
her
of
most
people,
recent
so I
video
will
of
see,
J.K.
like,
Rowling.
everything
She's
you
able
ever
to
post
approach this
whenever I
from
do
a
go
number of
on.
different perspectives, including her perspective as a trans woman. That's just my observation as a cis.
you're a very talented
Sissy.
artist.
I'm one of them cisgenders. If you're somehow still a big fan of Jordan Peterson in 2021, watch this one. It's full of great stuff.
They've got control over most low to mid-level bureaucratic structures, and many governments as well. But even in the United States,
I loathe Jordan Peterson.
Damn, son, where'd you find
I
this?
loathe
For a little more of a
him.
brief introduction to ContraPoints, I think you should watch the second oldest upload on her channel titled The Left. It's a very funny Socratic dialogue which critiques leftist political strategy and optics and has some great characters like the anarcho-communist cat girl, the pragmatist leftist, the centrist, and of course, the fascist. It's only 14 minutes long, which is about as short of a video as you're going to find in all of LeftTube. Her J.K. Rowling video is an hour and a half, and Canceling,
One of the
another great
best
video,
fucking
is an hour
videos
and
I've ever
40
watched in
minutes.
my entire
They're both
life is
worth the time,
her
of
video
course,
on,
but like
J.K. Rowling.
much of leftist YouTube, you gotta kind of treat
It
them
covered a
almost
lot
like
of the ways
movies.
that I
Or
felt
some
about her.
Chardonnay. Watch it with your family and friends.
Jordan Peterson is
so,
a
yeah,
stain
that's
on
ContraPoints.
humanity.
Person
I don't think
number
anybody blames
YouTube,
Canada for him.
leftist YouTube number 2 person.
He's been hanging out
Gary
with America
Brewis,
too
aka
much.
H Bomber Guy. Mr. Bomber Guy makes video essays covering all types of media. He reviews films, TV shows, and video games, but his standing as a prominent leftist YouTuber is attributed to his many hilarious videos which debunk right-wing myths and make fun of misogynist, racist, homophobe, all the stuff. Idiots that have pervaded the alt-right
one's for
anti-feminist
me.
YouTube space since around
all-seeing
2014.
dude.
His
Thank you
video
so much
essays
for the
are
follow. I
energetic,
appreciate
filled
you.
with tightly edited, sarcastic wittiness, humor, whichever word, and always do a phenomenal job of highlighting the examples of why all the most famous online conservatives your high school friends might still be watching are not worth paying another second of attention to.
My cat
Merging
Monstro
politics
does that
and
a
science,
lot.
not
just
allowing them to exist
screams at us
autonomously of each other, can
until we pet
only
him.
serve to alter science's trajectory to the path of truth. Okay, that's the main purpose here, and Bill Nye wants that.
Anybody who looks
specifically.
up to
Some
Steven
examples?
Crowder is so
I know
pathetic.
it seems tired and old
it
hat, but
hurts.
let's go to Nazi Germany.
You heard me
If
right.
any of you,
if
like,
scientists
legit, if
try
any
to
of you
make the
look up to
government
Steven
listen
Crowder-
to the effects of global warming and do something about it, it's the same as the Holocaust.
Are you
Steven Crowder, it's
okay?
honestly a
Are you
laugh a
doing
minute
all right?
watching him
Like-
flip-flop between comparing everyone he doesn't like to the Nazis and their genocides,
Please go try to get
and
a hug from
complaining that way
somebody.
too many people are comparing things to the Nazis nowadays.
Maybe don't
especially
tell
those
them the
leftists,
Steven Crowder
who are
thing.
the only ones that do it.
H Bomber Guy has 2 main video series. The first is his measured responses. They've tackled issues ranging from the cultural Marxism conspiracy
H
theory
Bomber
to the
Guy's
war
videos
on
are
Christmas to
fucking
flat
incredible,
earthers
by
to
the
climate
way.
denial, which of course gave
He's
us
very
this
thorough.
gem of a meme,
Let's say, for the sake of argument, that all of the water levels around the world rise by let's say 5 feet over the next 100 years. Say
Look
10
at
feet
Baby
by the next 100 years,
Banjo.
and puts all the low-lying areas on the coast underwater, right? Which let's say all of that happens. You think that people aren't going to just sell their homes and move?
Just one small problem. Sell their houses to who, Ben? Fucking Aquaman!
The second video series is more focused on media reviews, which I will happily contend are some of the funniest, most detailed, and well-argued video essays in all of YouTube. His most recent upload, a stunningly in-depth review of the history of the anti-vax movement, is something I'd recommend both watching and sharing, especially if you have people in your life that are still apprehensive about getting vaccinated. Instead of shouting at your anti-vax aunts and uncles over the Thanksgiving Day dinner table, just send them the video. There's a 10% chance they'll watch it, as is the case with anything you ever send anyone, but if they do, there's a 100% chance that they will at least laugh a little bit, and then maybe become more receptive to conversations about vaccines. On top of these positive contributions to the platform over the years, he's done a lot of good for other online leftist spaces as well, like when he raised over $350,000 for a trans youth organization during a Twitch stream in 2019. It's actually a pretty amazing story. Watch this video if you want to learn more about that. Or just recently starting a grant program primarily focused on supporting LGBTQ artists of color. The positive impact
of H-Bomber Guy video with him. 100% them. Sorry, I don't know.
On the video essay genre as a whole is especially inspiring as a small-time content
Get him to watch
myself.
that video. Get them to watch that video with you.
Epic video essay tuber number 3 is Sean. Sean's videos debunk right-wingers, deep dive into historical topics, and push back against shitty conservative narratives with incredibly meticulous reasoning and a very dry sense of humor. He was described in a Polygon article as being quite possibly the most droll human on the internet. I can't say I disagree with that. These video essays are all a masterclass in argumentation, in the way that he takes you through all of the evidence, weighs it against the claims being made, and arrives at strong, clear conclusions. Many such conclusions can be summarized as, hey, that guy's a fucking idiot, or a white supremacist, so you should probably stop watching them now. But there's something about the way he does it that's just very entertaining. And yeah, this is what all the videos look like this. Just a skull. Apparently the skull is a reference to this one old Nazi YouTuber Davis Arini's videos. But he really does keep it simple visually and relies on a thorough script and whatever visual examples are necessary. This is a deviation from the stylistical flair of some of the other leftist YouTubers, yet this doesn't detract from the content at all. It's very matter of fact, just, you know, putting the evidence on the table very succinctly. Bare bones, you might call it. Bare, like a Scully Bones. One of the funnier YouTube comments I've seen in a while is from the Blue Beret, who wrote, "It's my sleepover and I get to pick the movie," on Sean's video dropping the bomb Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which is a 2-hour and 20-minute long video essay. I find this comment funny because it speaks to the difficulty of trying to explain to someone why you'd ever want to watch a 2-hour and 20-minute YouTube video of a picture of a skull, but that's Sean's videos. So dropping the bomb sets out to challenge the commonly retold historical narrative that the atom bombs being dropped on Japan during World War II were justified, and it accomplishes that in one of the best video essays I think I've ever seen. If you want something less 2 hours and 20 minutes-y, his PragerU debunk videos are all great. The fake outrage videos of Doom and Cuphead both hilariously cover anti-SJW YouTube's freak out over the minuscule backlash that happened when those games were released. Another personal favorite video essay, and one I'd recommend watching, is one of his earliest uploads, a response to YouTuber Black Pigeon Speaks video titled "Do Women Destroy Civilizations?" Wow, what a great question, YouTuber. He goes through Black Pigeon Speaks video with a level of patience I wouldn't have thought possible, given that the guy's central claim can be summarized as women are biologically predisposed to being the literal devil.
Even today, many women seek out aggressive men, whether consciously or not.
Running amok, they run amok straight to Steven Crowder's doorstep, straight to Ben Shapiro's doorstep. You know, and
that means criminals, gangsters, and mass murderers are always going to be more attractive to women than hardworking, honest men. They always have been, they always will be.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not okay.
No, I won't deny
you
that
have
a certain number of
them.
people are attracted to that sort of notoriety.
You gotta put in the work.
But I guarantee if you ask the average woman, she'd rather marry an average, honest, hard-working guy, or Charles fucking Manson. She's gonna pick the guy without the swastika tattoo on his forehead.
Sean is one of the original undertakers of the leftist YouTube response video format, diving headfirst into debunking PragerU, anti-feminists, white nationalists, transphobes, and many others before it was cool, as far back as 2015, I think. Some uploads have been privated, I believe. And the fact that he's been so successful in doing so says a lot about why leftist YouTube is so important. There's a growing number of people on the platform that are tired of the reactionaries and want to actually know what's going on. And he really gets to the bottom of these things. There are countless comments on his videos from people who have been convinced that their favorite YouTubers were actually pretty bad the whole time. And that's the case with a lot of these creators. So yeah, that's Sean. There you go. That's Sean's section. What she started as a project to provide the YouTube world with a free philosophy education, Abigail Thorne turned PhilosophyTube into some of the best leftist video essay performance artistry content that the platform has on it. She's a philosophy PhD haver and a trained actor, and both of these really show in her work. I always come away from her videos with a few more books to read and a couple growths inside my brain, but the good kind, not tumors, knowledge growths. Her work analyzing the conservative demagogue types like Jordan Peterson, Steve Bannon, and Ben Shapiro is some of the best of its kind. She maintains a certain level of respect towards the audience of these figures by engaging with their ideas rather than attacking them personally, which is something I'm definitely trying to work on as a fairly fresh new tuber. Not sure how stupid Ben thinks his followers are. This open-endedness is a really powerful tool, and one of the few methods that actually gets people to listen to what you have to say when they might not initially agree with you.
Anti-echo chamber technology.
She came out as trans at the beginning of this year with her video Identity, a Trans Coming Out Story, which you should give that a watch.
More understandable.
Poetic, but she is one of 3 trans women at the forefront of LeftTube, which definitely is something in terms of trans representation in mainstream spaces. Her videos are dramatic, cinematic, grammatically correct, and have made me burst out laughing at many random times.
Fortunately, on this channel, we don't care about being right. Every episode of PhilosophyTube is wrong. In fact, I refuse to be correct. The goal is to be wrong in interesting ways.
And it's why she's one of the best in the biz at what she does. So that's thanks. Big Joel is a genuinely incredible writer. His ability to weave insightful, nuanced commentary into complex narrative analysis is unique and amazing. And it's evident in each of his videos. He's done plenty of film and media critiques, which are all great, but his analysis videos of PragerU, Jordan Peterson, Paul Joseph Watson, and various other goofy conservative boys and girls are what bring him under the leftist YouTube umbrella. He's very articulate and has plenty of funny observations and cool sweaters. His sense of humor is, I would describe it as very likable.
Instead, he has to learn that he is good enough. Learn that no matter what Mr. Potter thinks, there is tremendous value in who George is and in what he does for his community and his family. His life isn't bad, it's actually wonderful.
Some of his videos feature animations which pair very nicely with his narration. As far as media critiques, some of my personal favorites are his review of Shane Dawson's documentary and his hour-long video essay about the Adam Sandler movie Click and why it's the worst movie ever. His writing skills are evident in these media critiques by the way he brings concrete, relevant examples to all of his claims. He's able to draw connections between narratives that help illustrate what he's saying. I'd also recommend his micro-analysis type of videos, where he deep dives into his observations of small online interactions and speculates on the reasonings behind how and why they happen. Videos like these ones, Small YouTube Culture, Twitter and Empathy, and his latest upload, Twitter and Anti-Intellectualism. The lady in that video blocked me.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
He gets philosophical about tweets, and it's very fun to watch. His observations of fucking bug. He did a video on the Red Pill documentary, which was actually made by my step-cousin, Cassie. So this is me calling out Big Joel. You don't talk shit about my little baby cousin. That's family. And nothing gets, but just kidding. That movie fucking sucked ass. He knocks this video out of the park in terms of analysis and meaningful criticism of both the men's rights activist movement and the documentary itself. So All in all, 10 out of 10 channel.
I hated that
Three
movie.
Arrows is a smooth-voiced German guy who utilizes a firm understanding and accurate reading of history to counter the growing presence of online fascist narratives, like Holocaust denialism, misrepresentations of Nazi motivations, and false comparisons between Hitler and Bernie Sanders?
Nazi stands for National Socialist German Workers' Party. So put that in your back pocket. Now, let me get to something people will say. I know what you're going to say. National socialism, not democratic socialism like Bernie Sanders. There's a huge... One is fascism, right wing. One is not. They're both socialism.
Okay. Time and time again, he's exposed the profound historical incompetence so common to the prominent right-wing reactionary types. He is LeftTube's historian, or as he puts it in his YouTube description, a history baller. I completely agree with that title. One aspect of his response videos that I find hilarious is listening to him try to get over his astonishment that someone could even think of making such a powerfully ignorant mischaracterization of history, like victim blaming the Crusades away.
The fact is that these crusades, the second crusades, they were a response to the first crusades from Islam, from the Muslim onslaught for hundreds of years. For over 400 years, there was consistent Muslim expansion, aggression, violence.
Where to start? Okay. First off,
between watching him and Sean, I've definitely developed a higher level of appreciation for history and a yearning to read and understand more of it. I'd always heard that saying, learn history so you don't repeat it in a more abstract way. Like, okay, yeah, Nazism is bad, but, I don't have any plans to become one anytime soon. So we're probably good on that front. But after seeing the many examples of ways that modern political pundits take historical inaccuracies and spin them towards racist, fascist end goals, it really drives home the importance of actually knowing the history. At least knowing it well enough to be able to challenge these false narratives, make them instantly recognizable, and eventually no longer tolerated in civic discussion. This is something I definitely took for granted in my high school history classes.
I haven't had a proper crush on anyone since
Sorry, Dave.
Josiah,
But if you're into history or seeing Nazis get smacked around a little bit, Three Arrows is the channel for you. The last channel I want to mention in the video essay category is Innuendo Studios. He's been making videos for a long time and was one of the first major voices of reason on YouTube when the platform was an absolute dumpster fire of anti-feminist, anti-SJW, alt-right, white supremacist content. If you're unfamiliar with that time period of YouTube or events like Gamergate or just how horribly Anita Sarkeesian was treated, his series Why Are You So Angry is something that I cannot recommend enough. It's a 6-part series that tells a fascinating story of essentially how this happened. Another one of the best resources to come out of leftist YouTube is his series, The Alt-Right Playbook. In it, he identifies the various rhetorical and practical strategies employed by the alt-right to push crypto-fascist ideology. No, has nothing to do with Bitcoin. It's like means new fascist. I had to Google that. So it also does a good job of illustrating how frustrating interactions with online conservatives can be, whether you know them or not, and providing ways to move past this.
And you also notice the pattern of the conversation. He says something short, quippy, and wrong. You give a detailed correction. He says something else short, quippy, wrong, and only tangentially related to his last point, and the cycle repeats itself.
Yeah.
This goes on and on.
He's extremely articulate and well thought out in the writing of his narratives and makes important points while keeping the videos concise and entertaining. All right, okay, there you go. That's the first section done and shipped, stamped and squamped. Yeah. Group 2 is the leftist live streamers. This group's primary focus is being a consistent outlet of leftist commentary, providing political analysis on current events, speaking with or debating other online political figures, or combining these things with the most revolutionary praxis of all, gaming.
Nothing about what I'm describing is anti-science. I'm actually describing the scientifically accepted position at the moment.
God,
you know that, right?
Vosh.
You know that biologists aren't all a bunch of race realists. I'm the one who's standing with the experts on this.
They stream daily and are able to pull videos from each stream, hiring editors to cut down and upload them to YouTube, sometimes multiple times a day. This is in contrast with video essayists who upload much less frequently, but pack a lot more into the production of their content, writing narratives that are more fully composed than stream reaction discussion highlights. There's a debate online
I
as
love
to
Jenny.
which of these formats is more helpful or successful, but I mean, for the purposes of this video, fuck all that. They're both
son. I love
good.
her.
There's for different audiences and for different types of people. And the end result is the same. More leftist perspectives in larger mainstream spaces. And people really like them. You know, I like watching streams every once in a while. I'll dip my toe
Hassan is
into
an
a
adorable
Twitch. So for this,
little
we'll be looking
himbo,
at 3
hey?
live streamers: Hassan Piker, Vosh, and the Surfs TV. There are plenty of others, but these are the most prominent ones and should be enough to get the ball rolling. Most leftist streamers can be found in Discord debate calls with like
there's Hippy Dippy and
47 other
Counterpoint.
streamers at any given time. So if you're into this sort of content, you'll
I
find them
recognized a bunch of
eventually.
those people. Hi, Azuma.
The
How
most
are you?
prominent political streamer by far is Hassan Piker, formerly known as Woke Bay for his political handsomeness. He's only been
Woke
streaming
Bay.
since 2018, but pretty much dominates the leftist Twitch viewership, as well as Twitch viewership generally. While covering the 2020 election, he broke all records when it comes to live viewership of political streams. He was part of the infamous Among Us stream, where AOC, Ilhan Omar, and a handful of other famous streamers played Among Us to help get those sussy little bakas out to the voting booth. The game was streamed in front of 400,000 people, which still ranks in the top 20 of most watched streams in Twitch history. Pokemon Among Us to the polls. Sorry. I'm sorry. His Twitch success has translated well to YouTube, with his channel hitting 700,000 subscribers in just over 3 years of uploading. He does a lot of different stuff on his stream, much of which goes up on YouTube. He watches and responds to reactionary content, people like Ben Shapiro, who he has nicely rebranded as Shabibo. I much prefer that. Crowder, Poopy Girl, Trump Hogs, and just general conservative dipshit antics. He covers news stories and is very interactive with his chat. He isn't afraid to debate with or yell at chatters who are having bad takes or need to be educated on things. He's very adept at dealing with conservative talking
wish he
points,
was
and
less
this is a helpful
grumpy with
tool
his
to display
chat.
to people who are watching that
But
may have
it's really hard to
right-wing
not be
friends and
grumpy when
family,
people
or
say
maybe
as
think that
stupid
it's a
of
good
shit as
idea
they
to
say
come
in
into the
Hassan's
chat and
chat, I
make those
think.
points themselves. Watching small-town conservative chatters get dunked on over and over it's fun for the whole family.
You fucking dumb troglodytes, dude. Fuck you. You disgust me. I'm serious. It's just, you are so cringe and so fucking annoying and so disgusting, dude.
Hassan has kind of made being a leftist hip and cool and dope, fam. 100 Thieves Gucci style. Cash
out your back?
Cash
No.
out. Cash App compound. With his popularity on Twitch and connections with other content creators with massive followings, giving leftist ideas a bigger platform than they've ever really had. He also followed me on Twitter a couple weeks back, so...
Oh,
Hi,
Billy
chat.
Bob, I have
Poggers,
always been
Pog you,
obnoxiously
Poggu. As far as
leftist.
content
I'm
recommendations,
losing
most of the
Twitter
YouTube
followers
videos
by
are
the
fairly
day because
similar
I've been
in that they're more
outspoken leftist
reaction
for a
focused.
hot
So if you're not going to watch the stream, just browse around the channel a bit.
Would you
until
guys believe
find
it? I used to have
someone that you want to see
12,000 Twitter
get
followers,
made fun of real
and I
good.
used to get like 500 viewers at a time.
Vosh is the other most visible political
I made it
streamer. He
uncool
streams
to
on
be a
YouTube because I
leftist.
guess he got banned from Twitch because he said fuck Israel. To that I say free Palestine and fuck Twitch. And covers all sorts of stuff. Debunking conservative nonsense, debating people on the right and the left. His more edgy style of debate content appeals to a different audience than what might be drawn to longer video essays. He's rhetorically skilled and usually knows his
Yeah,
shit. So when
awesome.
Nazis
Sorry,
or
this is,
tankies come onto his stream
if
to
you
try
follow
to
me on Twitter,
justify
you
race
probably
realism
saw
and talk about how
the
gulags
photos
were actually pretty
of
fun
the
and dope, they
hooded
usually end up looking
capes
pretty
that I
fucking
made for
stupid. His
myself?
YouTube presence is also very strong.
No,
He's
I
only
had
been
to give
uploading
up on
for
the
about
wave
2.5
basket. It's
years,
too
but he's well on
hard
his
to
way
pay
to
attention to
400,000
that, to
subs, and
chat,
he posts
and
at
to
least once a
content
day
all at the
on
same
trending and
time.
relevant topics.
This
I
is
actually
much
found
easier
Vosh when I
for
was
me.
researching for a video on critical race theory, and his video PragerU is lying to you about critical race theory popped up in the search, and that's a good thing, I'd say,
I'm making
because
this
PragerU is always lying to you. However, I will say
you later,
that most
Sal.
stream react
Making
content
this
seems
cake
generally
for
less
my
effective than
partner's
video
mother.
essays when it gets put out on YouTube, because when people like Hassan or Vosh are streaming,
better
their
just so you have the
audiences
loyal
already
viewers
know
that
why
stayed watching now.
PragerU is trash.
There's-
So you can
there's
find
truth to
lots
that.
of comments on
There's
these
truth to
videos
that.
of people that found
I
the videos
miss the
on
money.
YouTube and aren't convinced by the end because they need more
I miss
engagement with
the
the material than
opportunities.
live
I do not
reacts are
miss
able to provide.
having to
Still,
fake being
200,000
friends with
views
people
with
I
a
didn't want to be
majority
friends
positive
with,
reaction
and them
is
having
better
to
than
fake
not
being friends with
having
me,
that.
and like
Debates,
getting
which
my
are one of
feelings hurt
Vosh's
by
main
people that I thought were
focuses,
my
have been
friends not being my
criticized as being
friends,
theatrical
and stuff like that. I don't
competitions,
miss any
rather
of
than
that.
actually promoting an understanding for the ideas. The more important thing is who won, and I can see that criticism. But an argument for Vosh is that he arms people with rhetoric to use to promote leftist ideas, or defend trans rights, or debunk race realism or xenophobic white genocide nonsense. And that also makes sense to me. Twitter seems to be pretty harsh on the guy, and they take him out of context a lot, but I mean, that's just Twitter. All things considered, Vosh, I think, usually has pretty good takes and has had a positive effect on the online leftist space.
I disagree
Vosh is
with
good,
that,
actually.
Noah.
If you cancel me for that, that's anti-gamer discrimination. The last live stream I want to mention is the Surfs TV. They're a bit smaller in audience size than Hassan or Vosh, but of all the other leftist streamers, it seems to me like they've fostered one of the best communities, and they cover news and politics in a really consistent, informed manner. They have a comedy YouTube channel and a news YouTube channel, and their content is all really well produced. It goes beyond edited live stream footage. They have some pretty funny sketches and more narrative-based content as well. Most of the time I trust their takes, you know, and they're Canadian, so it's good to have a foreign perspective. So far away, we wait for... Why is that song coming in my head? Hey guys, quick editor's note. Since recording this, the Surfs had a debate with Lauren Southern, and apparently it didn't go well, but regardless of whether it went well or not, Lauren Southern is a white supremacist.
I don't like how smug he is. I don't like how unwilling to concede when he's obviously wrong he is.
By anyone, especially people on the left. Anyways, back to the show. They also seem to be pretty involved with the leftist
But I
online
agree with a lot
content
of what he
community,
says.
doing things like propping up smaller creators, which is really awesome. They even shared one of my videos during a stream a few weeks ago, which as a tiny baby-sized creator was really motivating.
Noah Samson. It's, as the kids say, le poggies. There's like 200 people here right now. If all 200 of you subscribed, this would go from 4.16 to a higher number.
Thanks, fellas. I think the more platforms and communities with knowledgeable leftist people there are,
I think
the
that Noah is
better
quite
things are for
successful
everybody.
now.
So yeah, Surfs
He's very
number
good. He deserves.
1.
He deserves it. I'm glad that you
Commentary
found
YouTube
us
is a
too,
pretty
Mark.
wide-ranging category, and I think most of the popular ones are probably pretty leftist based on their takes. Channels like Jarvis Johnson, Curtis Connor, D'Angelo Wallace, and even my boss, Noel Miller, isn't afraid to get a little lib sometimes. The most famous episode of That's Cringe, with 28 million views, is making fun of the regressive, traditional, modesty, conservative type ladies from Girl Defined, but that's not a leftist YouTube video. You see what I mean? And it makes sense that this is a common trend because conservatives are just not funny. Like, who's conservative and funny? Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, Dave Rubin? Is that your guy? Stand-up comedian? Come on. Seriously? But this next group are what I would
feel like he
consider
has
leftist
done
commentary
a tremendous
YouTubers,
amount of
where
work
most of their
for
content does
the
relate
trans
to
community,
political
but I
or social
also feel like
issues.
he
And in
has
this group we have
cis white
Kat
male
Black,
savior
Sam
syndrome in a
Collins,
really
Ford
bad and
Harriet,
harmful
Tara
and
Mooney,
huge way.
and R.M. Brown. What
if that
separates
makes
them
sense,
from
but
the
he has
video
helped a lot of
essayists
other
is
people
having some unscripted
to
aspects,
help a lot of other
storytelling,
people.
solid
You know what I
commentary,
mean?
humor,
And that's
that kind of
overall good.
Kat Black started out on YouTube in 2010 discussing social justice and educational or video blog style content, and has since done videos with BuzzFeed and had her work shown in classrooms across the country. She has a great weekly unscripted series called True Tea, in which she discusses gender, race, sexuality, beauty standards, her perspective as a black trans woman, among many other things. She's a naturally talented storyteller, so her videos have this open, honest feeling that I find very engaging. As you may have noticed, most of the people
to be fair, I
so
only
far
recently found
looked
her.
very similar in terms of being white. And Kat talks about this in her video, Why is LeftTube So White? She brings up some really important observations and criticisms about online leftist communities. How she's noticed that primarily white audiences seem to have an aversion to engaging with content that's made by non-white creators until that content is first vetted by other prominent white leftist YouTubers.
What I've found personally is all too often what I say doesn't matter as much as what a white man has said that I said.
So his issue with me being named
stay with
Theodore
me.
is that his first instinct is to
I
call
have
me
no
Teddy. It's the most wholesome
with
thing ever.
People criticizing me. I have no problem
I heard
with
of
people
Kat
critiquing
years
my
ago, but
points.
only discovered she's trans a couple months ago.
But I
yeah,
find
I
that
had
all
no
too
idea.
often, instead of
I'm
actually
learning
engaging with my
this
content,
moment.
people say, okay, she's black, okay, she's trans. I've had arguments with a black person. I've had arguments with a trans person. Let me pull from my pre-established arguments.
But all of her videos are great, and her stories are illuminating. Even though she said she doesn't consider herself to be a BreadTuber, she's still a leftist YouTuber, and a great one at that. And that's why she's on this list, and that's why you should go sub to her channel. Sam Collins has more laid-back content. He usually plays some weird conservative nonsense and then reacts. He's very sarcastic, dry, deadpan, all the things which I personally find very funny. He's a trans guy, so he talks about that sometimes, covers related topics, looks a lot at TikToks. His format is very similar to the prominent commentary YouTubers, but with a leftist touch. From a leftist perspective. Think SJW Cody Co. Just kidding. Well, I mean, kind of. You know, SJW should not be. She's a term of endearment now. Being an SJW is good, actually. Sujubu and proud. For Harriet is a channel run by writer and cultural critic Kimberly Foster, which centers black feminist issues as video topics. Lately, she's been doing longer live stream type content, but some of her most popular uploads are commentary and reaction videos. She's had a great couple of videos on Candace Owens. For one of them, she had to sit through a 2-hour podcast of Owens and Joe Rogan. So let's take a brief moment of silence and then be sure to comment "Thank you, Kim" in the comments, because that's a brave soul doing God's work. I found Tara Mooney recently and she's just very funny. Some of her biggest videos are her analyzing Ben Shapiro's sister's channel, Classically Abby, which those are great because that lady's fucking weird.
God,
Regressive,
she's awful.
conservative modesty girl boss. Incredibly confusing. But Tara has a thesaurus of other videos. They're all very well put together. Some of them are more like video essays which contain commentary, but she's done a lot of media critiques and conservative dunking through lenses of gender, beauty standards, and sexism. Her recent video, Darman's War on Gold Diggers, takes a much deeper dive into Darman's antics than you might find anywhere else on YouTube. And apparently all her videos are made by a cow, so make sure you switch on out that oat milk now. Speaking of cows, PETA tweeted this today. Why would they do that? Why would they do it? The last commentary channel I want to talk about is RM Brown. His channel is smaller than the rest of these, but I feel like he fits into this section as a commentary creator pretty well. He's just a genuinely very funny person. He does a lot of
they're going to be as evil as they are, they at least need good PR.
Content. I would describe the atmosphere of his videos as very Tim and Eric-like, with his cadence and jokes. He also uses a soundboard, which is something that you just don't see content creators doing in the modern age that often.
If the vaccines are really about the government trying to save your life, why do life-saving medicines cost so much? Uh-oh. Whoops. Uh-oh.
What?
His Zizek impression is really fucking good.
You are dropped down into world and must fight your way out. This is how it functions. You are given various tools like the pickaxe.
That's awesome,
and blah, blah, blah.
He also had a really great interview with the big bad wolf, Professor Richard Wolff, the Marxian socialist economics professor, which, you know, all interviews with that guy are great.
I feel like
if you've never seen him, he's like if Bernie
unsanitary.
Sanders got the Captain America serum injected directly into his brain.
I feel like it might look really fun, though.
Government does stuff.
Professor Wolff has his own channel as well, actually. It looks like he's drawing influence from the PragerU color scheme here. Subtle psychological
Billy Bob,
manipulation.
please tweet
I like
me about it.
For news
Please.
channels, we have The Majority Report, The Young Turks, David Pakman, and Secular Talk. And yeah, that's the list. There you go. Frequent news style updates like a newspaper. I don't mean to be dismissive. You know, these are all great channels. They've been doing it for a long time. They cover things very well, but it's not my cup of tea. You know, one man's cup of tea is another, one man's not cup of tea is another man's cup of treasure. So watch these, folks, if you're tired of that MSM for daily coverage. Okay, next group, almost done. TheoryTube. These channels are more focused on the nitty-gritty theory stuff. Socialism, Marxism, anarchism, all that stuff. So if you hate your job because you're underpaid and overworked, doing something that you hate for a company that you don't give a shit about, and
so
you
like
wanna learn
literally everybody
more
in
about
chat
why
right now,
that is,
right?
then these channels are the ones for you. The function of this part of YouTube is to bring liberals and social democrats further left. It's like a pipeline. Show them why the conservatives they like actually suck. And eventually, hopefully, they will make their way here, which will give them a better understanding of why their former ideologies are flawed through informative content about these theories. I'm still not that literate at all when it comes to theory, but I don't think anyone really has to be. But these channels have definitely
Found y'all
provided
right
a lot
after I
of
got let go for
thought-provoking
correcting someone
content,
with
even if that just
narcissistic
means live
tendencies, so
readings
it
of
feels
articles
full
or book
circle.
recommendations. So let's
Man.
check them out. Muke, whose channel name
Yeah, I
is
think that's
Zazixi.
cool.
Sorry, that's probably wrong, but I found this
That
guy
is
when
a-
he tweeted that
that is
Bosch
nice and
unfollowed
tidy,
him over
hey?
a quote tweet about imperialism, which is really funny to me that I found a really great channel through that. But he's been doing this a while and is very knowledgeable about different aspects of leftism, specifically Marxist theory, and seems to have a thorough understanding of the way in which different leftist ideologies interact online. His last few videos have been great examples of constructive criticism between leftists. His response video to the Gravel Institute's video on profit being theft is very well made,
Billy Bob,
and it
I don't
seems
go to
like
bed
the
until
Gravel
at least
Institute
5 a.m.
agreed.
these days,
While we're talking about it really
TBH.
quickly, you should also check out the Gravel Institute. It's a leftist
I know,
PragerU, but not
that wasn't
lying
a
all the
one-up.
time,
That was
and
a,
they actually have cool,
you're not
very cool
gonna
art styles. So
catch
Zazixi has a great
judgment
series
from this
called Marx in
direction.
Minutes, which is a good primer to a
Sorry,
lot
that-
of these
that
ideas.
felt like
His
a
animation
one-up
and
over
visual
the
styles have
dumbest
a really
shit.
cool aesthetic and make
I
the
didn't
content
mean for
very
it to be that
digestible.
way.
Yummy, digestible content. Hakeem
hate
is an
it when
Iraqi
people do
Marxist
that.
whose videos are really well written and do a
That's so
great
laid
job
back.
of
See, I
responding
know.
to and countering
I
right-wing
have always
content,
had
as well as critiquing
horrible,
the
horrible
left,
sleep
as
issues.
well as covering theory. He's had a
It's-
few videos
my
that
body
make a
just
really
wants to go
interesting
to bed
and
as
compelling
the sun
case for
comes
why
up, if that
social
makes
democracy
sense.
is
That's just like
inadequate
the
in
way
a lot
it's
of ways,
always
mainly the
like
way it
it.
will always perpetuate global capitalist exploitation. Not sure if I'm getting that totally right, but videos like this are
Mr.
really
Darcy.
helpful and are teaching me that there's so much more to
married
learn
Joe.
than socialism.
I'm sorry, I
fucking
married
sick,
Amy,
which
which
is a
is
good feeling.
creepy because that's also
probably
my
right here
middle
on this the curve, the brain curve. Azure Scapegoat has some really great resources on their channel. Their most viewed video with 2.6 million views is a handy guide to understanding the differences between socialism, communism, and
God, it's
Marxism.
so
Other
hot.
topics covered are democracy in Cuba, various theory-related Q&As, and a recent video about how capitalism causes depression. And it does. Don't lie. Come on. Zoe Baker, known
I am also
formerly
an
as
insomniac.
Anarchopath,
Like
does videos
it's
on
from,
Marxist,
I
anarchist,
have
and feminist
medicine.
theory. She's
I'm
very well
prescribed
spoken.
medicine
She's
for
working
sleeping.
on a PhD in
I'm with
anarchist
you.
history
I'm
and
like
does a really good job
again,
of
not
translating
trying
these
to
concepts
one up,
into more
trying
understandable
to
terms. She's one of
show
the best at making
solidarity
theory
and
accessible,
say that I'm not
which is
judging
important
you.
because for most people with jobs and kids
It's
and
so
stuff
hard
like
to talk
that,
about
keeping
this
up on the
because of the
readings isn't
people that
all
are just like,
realistic.
oh yeah,
I'm
you
a
only got 3
freelancer,
hours of
which
sleep. Well, I
means
only
that
got
I'm
15
unemployed,
minutes,
but
or
I
what?
still
You know
have
what I
trouble
mean?
finding the time to get some reading done. So Zoe is another person who has been very helpful. She also has other interesting videos about different historical subjects. Her most viewed video is about homosexuality in medieval Europe. It's fascinating and definitely one I recommend watching. Another great video is My Dark Past, Silly Things I Have Believed, which is super
Also,
old,
Hi
but
Wolf,
talks
how are
about
you?
why
Good to see you.
leftists should be more open to discussing their past and admitting to
told I had
beliefs
insomnia
before
for
they were
years,
changed
giving
through a
me
lens of
meds,
her
but I
own
found
journey
someone who
with
was
this
willing to look
subject.
deeper.
All around
When I
great
got
stuff.
my
Everybody say
DSPS
thank you, Zoe.
diagnosis
Thank
itching
you,
crab.
Zoe.
Okay, I'll
Thank you,
pause
Zoe.
really
My
quick
cat has shown
and address
up for
this.
the filming.
My cat also is going nuts right now. Kika, kitty, 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 kitty. What are you doing? Why are you crying out there? Anyway, so typically, I find that as I get older, this gets, this is like a smaller window. But it started out as my body just wants there to be a 30-hour day in which I am awake for 20 and then asleep for 10. And now it's mostly just I can't get to bed at night. And I used to like have just long stretches where I would be waking up way early in the morning, then in the afternoon, then at evening, and so on and so forth. And it was cyclical like that. But it is its own special brand of hell. I remember in junior high, I could only ever sleep every other night. But for now, lately, ever since I got to Canada, really, ever since my last huge depressive episode before getting to Canada, where all I did was sleep, ever since before then, it's just that I want to be going to bed as the sun comes up. It's very, very weird that it's shifted, but it has. Canada hours are in metric. Y'all silly. Yeah, 100% Just Wolf. That is exactly what's going on with me. My doctor has always said that it's because I have the big three. Depression, anxiety, and ADD. And that just fucks with my sleep. And since I come from anorexia and have overcorrected for that and just have overall like really unhealthy relationships with food, it's a lot harder on my circadian rhythm. So lately I've been fasting on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then eating whatever the fuck I want on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And it's definitely made me sleepier, but it has not made it easier to sleep, if that makes sense. DSPS, DSPD, it's not something many people really know about yet. Well, I don't have a doctor for a while because I'm in the process of immigrating to Canada, and so I don't have insurance in the States, and I don't have a doctor or insurance up here yet either. So it's just going to be something that I have to deal with for a little bit longer, but I have been ever since I was a teenager anyway, so not really a huge deal. But it is something to keep. You're not wrong. I do talk to my doctor about it. Every time I like switch my doctors, I'm like, this is what I think. This is what my previous doctors have thought. I would love to hear what you have to think, etc., etc. THC was the best treatment you ever found. I'm the other way around. It's the CBD oil. By all means, feel free to drop a link. I woke up at 11 a.m. today. Day before was like 4 p.m. So I get the lack of pattern. Yeah, that's fully. I will definitely look into that. I dropped this. I wish I could get my bun to hang in more securely. Thank you for the link. I used to wake up at 2 a.m. and not be able to sleep again. Did a lot of sleep studies as a kid. Now I've got so many different issues impacting my sleep. I don't even know where to begin. Yeah, a lot of the time I end up doing the biphasic thing where I sleep for 3 hours and then I'm awake for a while and then I sleep for another 3 hours later. Yeah, I have to do CBD oil, low THC, high CBD oil. I was self-medicating with marijuana for a long time, and it took me a while to realize that the THC was making my anxiety worse, but the CBD oil was really good at treatment for like my base level anxiety, but the THC was bad for my panic attacks, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm doing a terrible job of explaining this. But yeah, everybody in the chat has sleep issues, hey? I feel like it's something that comes along with a lot of other like mental disorders and alternative lifestyles. I can't get medical marijuana because it's still illegal here. That's such a bummer. But hey, I heard that there's some fuckity fuck shit going on with Boris Johnson, so maybe you guys can get somebody a little bit more liberal in there. The Labor Party, right, is the ones that we like over there. I could be wrong. No, it makes sense, but that's because I had to learn a lot about my disorder, which it turns out is genetic. A friend of mine in high school had narcolepsy. I was always like, you lucky sumbitch. No, narcolepsy is I was really close friends with somebody who had narcolepsy, and they got hurt and stuff a lot. And it wasn't just like they passed out standing up and stuff. It was like they would get so tired that it was impossible to like ignore it. And if they would sit down and get comfortably, for sure they would fall asleep. And like they would get really confused. It's almost like seizures for that person. Not to claim to, I'm not a doctor. I'm certainly not an expert on narcolepsy. But for the person that I was really close to that had it, that's what it was like. If you're watching, hi, Gemma. Also, if you didn't think that we were super close, then sorry if that was creepy, but I felt like we were pretty close. I used to be a 2010 person, but now I have trouble sleeping more than 6 a day, so I'm always tired. Ugh. Yeah, that's brutal. Germany is working on legalizing recreational THC, which will have a domino effect for Europe. I hope so. I truly hope so. Minnesota accidentally legalized edibles, but they meant to make it harder to smoke. Yeah, I know. It's so funny. DSPS is an evolutionary holdover from when it was beneficial to have members of the tribe keep watch at night. So some people are just predisposed to be awake at night and sleep during the day. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if that was what was going on with me at all. He had a way of knowing when it was going to be an issue, but scary stuff, yeah, super, super rough. Like, because it would be like they would get, I don't know why I said they, since I already said her name. It would be like she would get, like, vertigo really bad and get, like, just super fucking tired and disoriented. And she would need to sit down, and then the minute that she did sit down, she would get comfy and fall asleep. The Republicans asked to roll the law back. Dems said no, as they should have. Okay, all right, we're going to go back to our boy Noah here. This was an amazing pause screen to stop on, hey? How lucky, these little cuties. So I'm genetically predisposed to be a tribal night watchman. Oh, great, I'll have to buy a spear. You're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. Shit's falling apart over there. Not to say that America is any better whatsoever. Okay. All right. Can I just get 3 readies in chat and we will continue to watch this before we move on to the super drama? Okay. This is the last of the soda. I'll be able to drink water after this. Hell yeah. Thanks, guys. Here we go.
Say hi, babe. Okay, well, last leg, almost done. Last group, smaller creators. Boom, that's the list. It's on the screen right now. This group is unique in that they have a much broader range of perspectives and material and stylistic approaches. This is inherent to the fact that they are a larger group, but to me this area of YouTube represents a kind of incubation ground for really cool, different stuff. Also, the fact that people making content as articulate, funny, and well made as these people do and are still small-ish is a crime. For most of these channels, becoming big isn't a matter of if, it's like a matter of when. So I'm getting in early, chasing that clout. Just kidding. Let's check them out. We're in Hell is a channel with a great name run by a guy called Sam, who has a great choice of facial hair style. He makes these long-form, deep dive video essays that incorporate a lot of really funny and interesting elements. They are very reminiscent of the classic BreadTube style in the monologue format. He's a great speaker and joke writer and uses sketches and live-action footage that give his videos a mockumentary feel at times. He's covered topics like crime, sex work, race and IQ, capitalism, and of course the bread and butter of BreadTube, PragerU reactions, and JPDB. He actually has first-hand experience.
I was wondering if you guys might want to do
University of Toronto, where Jordan Peterson became Mr. Worldwide doing his shenanigans.
I was thinking that we might do a one night a week.
He gets free content out of that. It's like nepotism,
Daily Wire
almost,
plus
in a weird way. Just kidding.
Reacts.
I remember a while back when Steven Pinker was talked about a lot for his book, Enlightenment Now. I actually bought that book, and I didn't finish it because all I could get from it was, yeah, it's all good, everything's fine, we're good here. No worries. The world has improved, so don't ask any questions.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Sam covers this phenomenon really well in his latest video, The Cruel Optimism of Steven Pinker, which also features a sick collab with another great leftist channel, Unlearning Economics, which I'll talk about in a moment. His video on anti-maskers is a really cohesive summary of the movement, drawing on history and connecting it to the present day. It's also very funny. He's been making videos for a minute and has started to blow up with his last few, which, you know, you love to see it. Professor Flowers makes video essays and commentary videos on politics, race, whiteness, and media. Her most recent video on Trump-adjacent confused white rapper
Professor Flowers is growing
really
pretty
good. It's funny, and it's the first time I've seen someone talk about that guy, even though he's like a massive online figure in his own little place, which is terrifying. She's also made some very necessary critiques of the online left. She's asked important questions
and
like
reacting
how much
to
of
it
our
once a
resources
week.
should be spent attempting to convert Nazis, and how can we better discuss race as leftists, particularly with how white the YouTube community is. Lua's video pushes back on the narrative that converting alt-right people takes precedence over the actual perspectives of the marginalized groups that define the leftist community.
I don't think it's bad if you want to try to help Nazis to stop being Nazis. I think the less Nazis there are, then it's a better thing. It's good. Not having Nazis is good.
But there's just like so much.
There's more to it than that. you know?
This narrative seems to be on the rise as people have sort of branded themselves with the reverse Dave Rubin technique. Instead of why I left the left, it's, you know, why I used to be a regressive anti-feminist or a alt-right guy, but now that being progressive makes money,
I don't know.
I'm gonna change teams. There's
It
nothing
would
wrong with
probably
having
move
less
around for
conservatives in
people
the
who
world, but
couldn't
my
make it on
god,
that
the popular
specific
ones
day,
now are some
right?
smug shitheads. You should watch these videos,
Just like
but
whatever
in the
day we
second one
felt
she
like
brings
it,
up a specific
you know what
point
I
about how
mean?
racism and police brutality can be very upsetting subjects to discuss
again,
as a black person, but
if
as
it
a
was
black YouTuber,
Wednesday,
she still
we
feels
could
the need
call
to
it
appear
Right-Wing
upbeat and
Wednesday,
accommodating because white audiences
and that
are
would be
sensitive
very
to these
fun.
conversations.
I used to make videos that explained racial issues to a skeptical white audience, and because I knew that they were skeptical, I tried to be disarming. And in being disarming, I had to water down the message. I had to remove my feelings, and I had to remove a lot of my thoughts in order to make myself and this issue more digestible. The problem is that racism isn't digestible.
And even when she does that, she still receives backlash.
There is no way to present racism in a disarming package without watering down the message of racism.
These are all things I really hadn't thought about before watching her videos. So to everybody that's like me, watching or making content while white, this is a very important perspective to have on the platform. But yeah, Professor Flowers, great smaller channel, nice job. Jay Corviday is a very articulate, talented YouTuber who does video essays, commentary, and makes electronic music that absolutely kicks ass. His video essay on Shrek being queer culture is a 10 out of 10 video essay. Jay is also non-binary and has made many videos on non-binary issues. Until watching Jay's content, I had a very surface level understanding of what it means to be non-binary and the different ways in which the non-binary community is ostracized by parts of the left, on top of the usual transphobes. So these were really helpful and also very well made and entertaining. His Sims 4 late stage capitalism challenge videos are, well, I mean,
builds their ideology on contrarianism.
I also really appreciate the way he
TBH.
approaches criticisms of other leftist creators. He has no issue calling them on their bullshit, but does so in a productive way. Like when leftist streamer Xander Hall wouldn't stop using ableist slurs and didn't listen to his community's discomfort with this, Corviday challenged him on it and ended up debating him, which to me is surprising that that's something that you'd even have to debate, but whatever. Corviday was extremely patient and articulate about communicating the source of harm. He did the same when ContraPoints got canceled on Twitter in late 2019 for casting Buck Angel, a vocal transmedicalist, as a voice actor in her video Opulence. Rather than piling on the onslaught, much of which was very harmful and unnecessary, ContraPoints actually ended up deactivating her Twitter during that time. But Jay was genuine and well-meaning in expressing their issues with Natalie's decision. As many others have said, when it comes to non-binary topics, it's probably best that we listen to non-binary people. So some other great non-binary YouTubers I found after watching Corviday are Cops Hate Mo, Luxander, and Ashton Daniel. Go check them out. Go check them out. Go check them out. Mia Mulder is a YouTuber with a background in history who makes really long, really good video essays on all sorts of topics. Her recent video on the safety of puberty blockers is really relevant right now, and as with most of her uploads, she gives the topic the necessary care and research, which in this case makes the video an extremely useful resource. She is funny and maintains this balance between theatrics and dry humor in the cadence of her delivery, which is very unique and engaging. It was also a very pleasant goof surprise when looking up videos about BreadTube to find a BreadTube video by a BreadTuber about BreadTube that was literally just her making some bread.
Now you can enjoy your BreadTube with whatever topping you would like. I'm enjoying some hummus myself. Have a wonderful day.
10 out of 10 April Fool's goof. Unlearning Economics is a channel that focuses on, well, you guessed it, economics. He has an academic background on the subject, which shows in how thorough his content details these concepts. He released a 3-part series titled BreadTube versus Economics, which comments directly on videos from ContraPoints, Sean, and PhilosophyTube, critiquing their portrayals of different leftist economic concepts and being extremely thorough with this analysis. The majority of his videos are focused on actually teaching the subject matter, and he's described his channel as fulfilling a gap in LeftTube's understanding of these issues.
I would like this channel to help fill in the gap in economics content, and in this short series I want to comment directly on the few times where major BreadTubers have discussed economics, because I think there are some issues.
And that's some really good stuff. If 3 Arrows is LeftTube's historian, unlearning economics is, well, you know, The success of his BreadTube critique videos speaks to the growth of the community. People that watch prominent leftist YouTubers want to learn more and want to know how they can improve their understanding of the things they talk about. And that to me is a really good sign. Structures are being built from within to help maintain this movement, and the more of these we have, the better off we will be. I keep saying we like we're all the Avengers or something. Sorry for being cringe. I'm posting cringe IRL. Lonerbox is another massively underrated channel. He manages to incorporate theory
I feel like
into
one
long
of you
video
talked about
essays that are also
Lonerbox
somehow
earlier.
concise and very funny. He has a dry sense of humor that really shines when he's talking about goofballs like Ben Shapiro and the like.
Night,
He's got a
Billy.
knack for putting
Thanks
together
for
a good
stopping in.
production, which is really evident
Saying
in
hi,
his
it was good to
video
see ya.
4chan and How I Was Almost Radicalized, which was enlightening with regards to the World of Warcraft to 4chan to Nazi pipeline. He talks about how this process ended with him bringing a race and IQ study to his biology teacher, and his teacher had to set him straight, which is so fucking funny. Glad you made it out, dude. Keep up the good work. John the Duncan is a PhD researcher and as of recently a published academic. His videos are really informative. He draws on a lot of different sources to make his arguments, and they're very cohesive while maintaining a sense of depth and humor. His primary focus of study is, according to his Twitter, human rights, austerity, and neoliberalism.
I still haven't
His video, My Bullshit
unmodded
Job,
you. If
Welfare,
you're-
and Neoliberalism, is a
If
fascinating
you
look
want
at
me
the
to,
frustrating,
I'm happy to
disheartening
do that real
workplace
quick.
of a
I just
UK
didn't think
welfare
of it at
resource
the
job
end.
and the factors which create the need for
So
such
I'm
jobs.
happy to, but
His
if
recent
you
video
also
critiquing the
are
lefty debate bro
trying to
culture was
mod for
very
me, I
insightful.
need
It got me
YouTube
thinking a
mods.
lot about the debate lord realm and how it fits into the leftist
Really just
YouTube
one or
ecosystem.
two.
If there's one thing we can all agree on, it's fuck Destiny. In his latest upload, Making a Girl Boss dives deep into girl boss feminism, and it's just really well
I
done.
enjoyed that very
Thorough,
much,
well
Noah.
written, well argued, well. One of the coolest videos I've seen in a while is from YouTuber One Dime called Meme Warfare. I'll show some visuals from that right now, but it's, you know, such a unique artistic editing style. I say that as a video editor and visual artist. It's just
Appreciate it.
maintained throughout this
Yeah,
super
awesome.
long
Thank
video
you.
while doing a great job of critically analyzing an interesting topic. This is another channel with under 10,000 subscribers, which blows my mind, but all of their videos are great. Last channel, sitting at a cool
That's funny, huh?
954 subs at the time of recording. YouTuber Marina Dove has 3 uploads on their channel, and these are all just such good videos. Their latest upload, Abortion, the Proletarian Feminist Perspective, draws on law, history, theory, and a great sense of humor to make some important observations and arguments about abortion and the various controversies surrounding the subject. Also, check out the look at those goddamn horns and cool costume. This is what LeftTube's all about, baby. But let's get them to 1,000 subscribers.
Let's do it.
Okay, we're done. It's done.
Did
Finally
I
there.
keep doing
Conclusion
that.
slide now. Closing arguments, call to action. It's going to be emotional. Get ready for some of the bleeding heart socialism rose emoji. Remember last year during the Democratic primaries when all the Democratic candidates dropped out and endorsed Joe Biden at the same time, thus robbing the young, diverse coalition of working class people from its groundbreaking mainstreaming of a socialist political movement, which in turn reestablished the neoliberal status quo doctrine of America and has just totally been
The DNC is 1,000,000%. Democrats are 1,000,000%. This is so fucking important. I'm sorry. The Democrats are poised currently to try and frontman Pete Buttigieg again. That's going to happen. It's going to be a fucking disaster. Knock that shit out. Tell them how displeased you are with it every time you see it. Okay? Not that Pete Buttigieg would be a terrible president. I think that he would be a better president than Joe Biden, to be perfectly honest with you. But there's no fucking way in the middle of Biden's terms people are going to want to swing. It's just giving away half of the Dem vote. It's giving away half of the Dem vote. And right now, we're really kind of banking on a bunch of people voting for Donald Trump and the Republicans not putting him forward. Okay, so just please please, when you see people talking about, Pete Buttigieg is good, actually, I need you to swat that shit like the fucking mayfly it is. Please and thank you. Also, don't swat mayflies, maybe. Leave the mayfly. The mayfly never did no one no harm. Okay. Sorry. That was just important to say. I've lost faith in America completely. Same. I'll keep voting as long as I'm still able to, but I genuinely think the country is doomed until major vote reform happens. Ranked choice and mixed member proportional are the only way to fix the two-party garbage. Agree. Who is your choice for DNC frontrunner? It has to be Biden. If what I wanted ever fucking mattered in the first place, we would have Bernard Sanders as president right now for his second term. And then next term we would have Liz Warren, and then next term Liz Warren or Ilhan Omar if that's what she wants, but she's never expressed interest in that, and I want AOC. I want AOC the moment she's able. She's going to be too young this term. She's going to be too young next term. Bernie getting shafted again was literally the last thing that caused us to leave the U.S. Yeah, Trump getting elected was, I was looking for my ticket out 100%. I was like, I'm going to move to Canada come hell or high water. And that was like a big part of what made me and Josiah start flirting with the idea of getting together. And that and the like ridiculous chemistry. Like it was undeniable that we were hot for each other. Anyway, sorry that we will go back to this. I don't want it to be Joe Biden, but Joe Biden is who we have to put forward. If we don't do that, we're idiots. And not to say we as if I am a Democrat, because fuck those guys, but anything that has a chance at beating a Republican, even if it is Republican light Joe Biden. Sorry.
Super awesome since that started.
From
Great
your state.
job,
She's
Joe
amazing.
Biden.
Joe Biden.
She's
Joe Biden.
She's
well,
amazing.
That sucked. I got a cool shirt out of it. It's very soft, but it sucked. I remember feeling in those moments a very distinct sense of deflation, bordering on apathy. If this is how our current system responds to the only genuinely progressive political movement we've had in a very long time,
I hope the AOC
what's
gets
the
to
point
be our
in even
first
trying?
female president.
Here's where I show a quote from a book. This is what leftist tubers do, and that's what they do, so I have to do it now. In Why Marx Was Right, Terry Eagleton describes the lull in the support of Marxism during the mid-70s. It was not illusions about the new capitalism, but disillusion about the possibility of changing it, which proved decisive. There were, to be sure, plenty of former socialists who rationalized their gloom by claiming that if the system could not be changed, neither did it need to be. Based on what is going on in the world, I have a feeling of hope regarding the system being changed, and that hope is amplified when I look at what people are doing on
thank
this
you so
platform.
much for
Leftist
resubing.
YouTube represents an opportunity to grow these movements and potentially change systems in ways that have never been possible. We've looked at countless examples of people that are already doing this in one form or another. And in the interest of working towards a world of genuine equal rights, of an economic system that is not total, complete,
Obama was fairly young when he was elected, and he's, in my opinion, the best president we've ever had.
Being weird, writing books about
still
how
a
leftist
terrible
YouTube
fucking
is a
president,
CIA
y'all.
plot or some shit. More constructive
Still
criticism.
just a bad
less
guy.
Twitter. I love Twitter. I've always loved Twitter. It's been my favorite app for a long time.
It was a huge win for
But I just
America that we
realized
finally
in the
had a
past
black
few months
president.
that
I'll take
it
that.
definitely does cause some problems. Every tweet you see is is in your phone, and that's where it is, and that's all that
Best president in our
means.
life. You know
Twitter
what?
was
You're right.
invented
You're
by
right.
Jack
Roosevelt was pretty top
Dorsey
notch.
and some other guy, so that you could tweet poo poo pee pee, and that's why it's there. And don't you forget it. So yeah, that's my call to action. Chill out on the timeline and make a YouTube channel if you got something to say.
I can't
and if
trust
not, subscribe
the history
to
that I was taught, knowing how easy it is for politicians
in this video,
to
which are also
manipulate
linked in the
what we are
description.
taught.
Yay. This
You know
video
what I
took
mean?
over a month to make, which is the longest I've ever spent on anything
Fetterman
in my
is
life.
starting
If you'd
to
like to
make
see some
waves.
behind the scenes footage or read from the 13,000 word
I'll have to
scripts
catch up.
for some reason, I actually just launched a Patreon. So for
I
just a couple bucks,
just
gain access to the BTS
mark
content,
my
Q&A
words.
live streams,
If
Patreon shit posts,
they-
or
if
have
they
your name live
front
on
man
forever in
fucking
the credits of each of my
Buttigieg, dude,
videos.
we're
Thanks,
done
Gary.
for.
Also, I made
Donald
a Discord
Trump
server.
will
It's
be
in the
president
thing,
again.
It's in the description too. So,
a lot.
all right, bye.
He will a lot be president again, and he will never have to pay for the shit that he's done. This is the next video that we're gonna watch, but it's
idiot.
Get out of there. Take out the trash.
Amazing. Okay, sorry. I fucking hate this fucking guy. I'm not allowed to say that on Twitch, but I don't care. I'm too small to get banned. They just won't do it. Nobody will ever see me. You can't see me. We're gonna take a quick break. Everybody, get yourself some water. Get yourself a snack if you need. Make sure that you are getting up and touching your toes if you can. And we will be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Why did I do that? I pressed the wrong button. By the way, I'm voting for Guillotine 2020-24. Okay, hi. Sorry, I'm back. I'll immediately put an end to this merrymaking, lovely, provided free of charge, even though it's dope as fuck. Art. Get out of here, Art. Out of here. Hi, Dragon Rana. How are you? It's good to see you. Okay. Can I get 3 readies in chat for the next Noah video? Or if you guys want to sit and chit chat for a second in between, that's fine too. The John Cena song. Oh, I also, Wolf, I went, You Can't See Me. It was a direct John Cena reference. 3 readies. We do have 3 readies though, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start it.
Noah Samson's a fucking idiot.
Noah, the coward Noah Samson, who said that he liked me in a video and then later posted like a minute-long retraction in the following video.
I have no problem with black creators getting really big. However, FD signifier is a dumb fuck.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Hassan Piker.
Definitely
what? Idiot. Nobody learns anything new
This
from
dude
Hassan.
is such an idiot. Like, how is this guy projecting so fucking hard?
As a concept. I don't think he understands it enough to defend it as a concept. Fuck you, FD signifier. Fuck you, Noah Samson. Fuck you, Hassan Piker. Go fuck yourself. Don't be proud that you can't defend your ideas in a debate.
What a shitty loser.
Proudly exclaim to the
I'm
online
not allowed
right
to say
and
that.
everybody watching that the left isn't and shouldn't defend their ideas.
I'm
sure
too
that
small
Noah
to
Samson
fail,
will just
though.
end up putting out another video about how debate bros are awful. And with the bisexual lighting and everything like that.
The bisexual lighting.
Hi everyone, welcome back to this television show. I'm Noah Samson, your host on google.com/youtube.com's best website, my channel. If you've got something that's gross or a little bit weird near you, like a garbage bag full of animal parts or something, get it out of there. Take out the trash. That's my number 1 health foods tip of the day for today's day. Warning, warning,
Noah.
alert, alert, red alert, alert. Alert. This is not an anti-debate bro video. This video is, and I hope we can improve our online conduct and get better at recognizing white supremacist structures in leftist communities. Video. It just so happens that in order to do this, we need to use a couple of debate bros as our Caucasian punching bags. But they won't mind. As a matter of fact,
They have fucking
they like it. They love it.
big time white savior syndrome though. Like both of them.
This video
and
is
they're
sponsored by
bad.
White on White Crime. I'm here to
Idiot
correct the record
people.
on some falsehoods that are being spread around the D-boy zone, and also expand on my own personal criticisms of these spaces. I personally, and you can shit on the top of my head for saying this, but I personally think that people like Vosh have the ability to do a lot of good with their platforms. Teaching young people how to use arguments and rhetoric to push back against their 9 o'clock bedtimes for reasons not unrelated to gaming, spreading socialism with discord characteristics across the globe. No, but seriously, I do appreciate what he and other members of the live streaming community do. It's a different skill set that's important to have, and denigrating this community from the outside is the last thing that I want to do. That being said, there are some clear problems with the way that debate spaces operate that will only continue to arise until they are properly addressed.
I haven't ever
that's why
watched
I'm
this
here.
video,
I can
so I'm
fix
excited
them.
to.
Obviously, that's not going to happen, but you know what they say: shoot for the moon, and when the bullet travels back to Earth, you'll kill a teenager in a nearby town. I've brought a friend along with me for today's video. Why don't you come on out, buddy?
Whoa, hey everybody, it's me, Good Faith Gary.
This is
Oh,
Good
no.
Faith Gary. Everyone say
What a
hello.
nightmare.
Howdy,
No, not you. I'm telling them to say hello to you.
Oh, my bad.
Wait, Gary, aren't you just Clippy from the Windows thing?
I don't know who that is.
I'm pretty sure you are. Like that animated Microsoft.
My name's Gary, so it's on my birth certificate.
Okay, well, I've brought Good Faith Gary in to help us out by stepping in if I ever start acting in what debate streamers might deem bad faith.
I'm gonna be looking out for any uncharitable, straw man, poisoning of the well style situations.
He's a
Hopefully this will help
nightmare, yeah.
Keep the dialogue open, because honestly, I don't trust myself enough to not be a dick to viewers of debate streamers, even though I used to be one of them.
Yeah, you've been on leftist Twitter for a little too long, huh?
Right.
I'm Good Faith Gary, and I love to engage.
Okay, man.
Setting up shop in the marketplace of ideas.
You can go now, but just ping me
This
if you
is
need
very
to interject,
funny.
okay?
Alrighty, good faith to you and yours.
Anyways, if you're a streamer that's watching this live right now, I forbid you from pausing this video to pick at me like a scab and go me. You're gonna keep this video playing and you're gonna like it. I'm just joking, but if you do need a pause, now would be a great time while I have my Patreon link on the screen. Go refill your nuggies and warm milky and pay me some money, okay?
Now I wish I had fucking done the commercial break with
the
this
white Joel
going.
Osteen. Why is
That's
that in the
funny.
script? Come on. All right, thanks. Time to go. Fuck you. I had been spending the last month or so working on a couple different scripts for videos when the following clip was
Xander
brought
Hall
to my
makes me
attention
sick. I'm
last
sorry.
week. It's
He's
from a
just
video by the
bad and
leftist
stupid.
streamer and YouTuber Xander Hall titled "Why LeftTube is Dying and the Next Anti-SJW Wave is Rising." Oh no, this situation sounds dire. We better take a look, see what's going on.
You'll notice, and we talked about this earlier,
Like,
there are
who
some
uplifts
people
this fucking
online
loser? I'm
in the
sorry.
political
I
scene
just
right
hate
now
him.
that are left
I'm not allowed to say
are
that.
growing and are doing well. Many of the creators that are really blowing up right now are newer essay, commentary, bisexual lighting YouTubers. Good example of this is Noah Samson. We just did a segment earlier covering
Oh hey, that's me.
Noah Samson and how he's actually a dumb
Oh god damn it.
That dude is literally gaining 4,000 subs a day right now, and this worries me. I am worried about channels like Noah Samson and people like Hassan blowing up on YouTube because they're stupid and they can't defend their positions.
Now here's where I paused the video and thought, Tom Hardy gif from Mad Max Fury Road. That's bait, right? Has to be. Or maybe it's a performance. Like somebody forced an AI to watch debate streams for a year straight and then had it write a manifesto. And then microwaved Eminem
That's
for
what
20
we wanted.
seconds and had him read it at gunpoint.
Can't defend their positions.
So I kept watching the video because, you know, I support small gamers. And that's when I saw this. Xander Hall responds to a message in the chat that mentions several popular
You're not
black
wrong,
leftist
Wolf.
creators by name, some of whom are relatively new to YouTube.
Try giving more examples.
I mean,
Wolf.
if y'all want to
Progressive
report me,
slash
it's
leftist
it
channels
would
by
not
black
be.
creators have been getting
it
really
would-
big this past
listen,
year,
Good
for
Faith
example.
Gary would not call you out
I'm
for it
so
right
glad
now.
you brought this up. I'm so glad you brought this up. 'cause some of the
Deliberately
examples you
breaking
list
rules.
here, I know,
not
I know these
not
people,
to
and they're
break
exactly
rules,
the
but
problem
just
I'm talking
because
about.
this dude is
Sorry.
such a loser that I
I
can't
have no problem
fucking
with
help
black creators getting
myself.
really big.
I
However,
cannot believe that this dude is successful.
let me check something really quick. FD signifier is a dumb fuck. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay, so he's definitely doing a little bit of trolling. Why else would someone say something like that about FT Signifier of all people? The final boss of the wise uncles of YouTube.com. If he isn't baiting us for hate clicks here, and has
can't
just
get
deemed
reported
himself
for
the
being right.
racial arbiter of who's allowed to make left-wing YouTube content, then that's not much better, is it?
Nope.
Oh, I'm fine with black people coming onto LeftTube. But I have some conditions. Seems pretty weird. Earlier in this stream, he goes over how his channel is, well, dying. It's a pretty unfortunate segment, but I assumed at this point him lashing out here had something to do with that. But eventually he gets to a claim of sorts. He's gonna be on the screen for a little while, so just a heads up if a radiation sickness warning shows up.
Xander
on
Hall
your
just has
HUD,
major
probably
main
just pause the
character
video and go take a
syndrome.
shower.
FD signifier
Where anybody
is a
who
dumb
ever
fuck.
has-
I was iffy on him for a while. He's been shit talking the debate bro thing for a while now. He's also gone on Twitter.
Anybody
and said
who's
some dumb
ever
shit
disagreed
about,
with
like,
him on
BreadTube
anything
debate bros and stuff
immediately
like that.
becomes a
Here's the
bad
thing.
leftist.
People like FD
You know what I
signifier,
mean?
Noah Samson. These all have one thing in common.
I really
They
wanna hear-
hate and non-stop shit talk debate bros. They'll just shit
I
talk
wanna
the
hear
concept
his
of being a debate bro and claim that
reasoning
debate
for
bros
not
are all
liking
toxic
people who
assholes.
are
Gross.
right
Assholes
and
who make the
good and
left
bring
worse. You're
receipts
starting to
all
see
the time.
that rhetoric get really popular among
But
the
instead
left
he
right
just
now.
is like
notice how everyone
he
I meet
decides
and
to
interact
troll
with in
when
my
people
life ends up
challenge him
calling
on
me
that
an
shit,
asshole.
and that's it's
so
so
weird.
immature
That
and
rhetoric
terrible.
is getting really popular right now. Whoever's doing that, we gotta
Doxy in
stop.
chat, my sky is purple.
Okay,
I'm scared.
sorry.
No,
Here,
don't
let's
be
let him
scared.
finish making his point.
Do
You're
you
probably
think
gonna get a
that
fun
the left
storm. Or
online
well,
would do better
where you are
with
though.
people like Hassan and Noah Samson and FD Signifier.
Damn, yeah,
being
that's
the largest
cray.
figures on it. The types of people who say debate is bad, who literally say debating is bad, people who literally as a concept.
That's neat looking. What's
are
your
against debate and defending your ideas, and they publicly
not
say
shut off
so.
YouTube
Do you
comments,
think that this
no.
is what we want representing the left?
Okay, so Xander Hall says that Hassan, Feek, and I are, as a concept, against debate and defending our ideas, and goes on to conclude
What's your
that this
radar
will
look like? Do you
inevitably
need
end
to
in a
go somewhere to
weakening
get
of the
safe?
online left
Like, are you all right? Are you
because-
I'm
good?
starting to see the online left turn into what it was back during
Watch
the
that
Gamergate
climate
era.
change,
One of the
y'all.
biggest common talking points.
Natural
from the
disasters
right during
coming
this
at us
era
a mile
was
a
the
minute
left
these
was too afraid
days.
to debate and defend their positions. That's why Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro blew up so much. It's because they debated, and they didn't debate well, and they weren't telling the truth. They just debated. Just the fact they were willing to debate gave them more credibility than the left, because nobody on the left wanted to debate.
Yes, famously credible intellectuals Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro.
You must be a biological boy to be a Boy Scout. You have to be a boy to be a Boy Scout.
Well, you're putting your finger in the little hole.
Rubber.
So where is Zanman getting this impression about us? Well, I have a few ideas. I've gathered some clips together of criticisms made about Debate Bros by the people he's mentioned. These are things that I both agree with and think may be the source of this characterization. Sorry if this is a bit tedious, but I think it could be potentially helpful to have all of these critiques sort of compiled here. To give a little context as to the state of this riveting discourse, during a recent live stream, Hassan voiced some criticisms about the Debate Bros sphere and the audiences it tends to cultivate.
I agree, but I also see the downside of never having your viewpoints challenged with opposing views. Yawn. Okay, here's the thing. This notion that you are having your opinions challenged in the marketplace of ideas is a silly one. That would make Ben Shapiro the most intelligent person on the internet.
Hey, you're not a man if you think you're a man. And if I call you a moose, are you suddenly a moose?
This
okay,
is why I absolutely fucking despise Debate Bros, because you don't care about the actual morality behind the ideology that you supposedly believe in. You don't care about the outcomes. You do not have like a well-grounded materialist perspective on issues. You are simply going towards who is the most powerful intellectual gladiator.
FD Signifiers Break Bread is a video that covers the history and current state of BreadTube or LeftTube and the barriers posed to non-white creators on this platform. There's a section in this video that had some things to say about Debate Bros. Let's take a look at a clip.
And this problem with Debate Bros and their fandom, who understand make up a very significant chunk of LeftTube viewing, including my own, is the problem
count as an
of most
out-of-body
LeftTube,
experience.
both creators and consumers, which is for all of the theory and research and outward rejection of white supremacy on paper, the vast majority have not taken the time to dismantle the white racial frame through which they see the world. So even with the best intentions, the behavior and viewpoints born out of this space is still going to be rooted in racist frameworks unless the concept of whiteness is addressed. Essentially, if you read Marx and Trotsky and Gramsci and What You Want to Do Ski and whomever else, but not Du Bois, Fanon, Hooks, Crenshaw, etc., you might be a leftist white supremacist. And thus, this colors the nature of leftist content and inadvertently makes things dangerous for the marginalized voices
This is from
that get
Breaking
caught
Bread.
in the wake of this highly toxic, highly negative energy.
If that last part
Y'all
sounded
should watch
oddly
that.
specific, don't worry, we'll get to that. Foreshadowing is a narrative technique when you talk about something and you talk about it again later. My most vocal criticism of Debate Bros came in the follow-up video to my LeftTube guide with a section on Debate Bros. Not gonna lie, I wrote
didn't
that
know
script
about that
in about
video.
an hour, so not my cleanest work. I also played some out of
Y'all,
context
hold
clips
on.
of Vosh. It was meant to be a joke, but it ended up just being me.
Should we go watch that video before watching this one? Hold on a moment. I didn't know about that one. Damn it, I knew I should have looked at the list of videos. Oh my god, it's like right next to it. How long is it? It's 50 minutes. We have less than that left of stream. Apparently my phone is just severely behind. Never mind. Okay. I will pause. I will pause for an entire 20 seconds and just count to 20 while you refresh everything. Ready? 1 Mr. Mimel. 2 Mr. Mimel, 3 Mr. Mimel, 4 Mr. Mimel, 5 Mr. Mimel, 6 Mr. Mimel, 7 Mr. Mimel, 8 Mr. Mimel, 9 Mr. Mimel, 10 Mr. Mimel, 11 Mr. Mimel, 12 Mr. Mimel, 13 Mr. Mimel, 14 Mr. Mimel, 15 Mr. Mimel, 16 Mr. Mimel, 17 Mr. Mimel, 18 Mr. Mimel, 19 Mr. Mimel, 20 Mr. Mimel. I saw that you said you already did, but I couldn't just stop counting in the middle of counting. I don't know if that was an ADD thing or what, but I couldn't do it. Okay. Can I just get some readies in chat? And next time, gang, we're gonna have to cut this one short even. We can finish this video. Fuck. I don't know. Okay. Vote yay if you want us to watch the other video tonight and then watch this video next time. Tomorrow. Vote nay if you would rather just finish this video. But it seems like that video has some context in it that we are missing. But it might not be that important. Because I feel like if it was important, Noah would say it. I'm just one of those assholes who likes to have all the context. But I can live without it if chat room is more into just finishing the video that we're on. I can definitely understand that. I need more votes. There's 24 of us. Y'all can vote yay or vote nay. The all-seeing dude, thank you so much for voting. I would love just 2 more votes. I would love just 2 more. Oh man, I can't see those. It doesn't play nice with Restream. Okay, it doesn't look like I'm gonna get any more. Nay has 2 and yay has 1. So sorry, Moth. We're gonna move forward with this video, but next time.
Me playing out of context clips of Vosh. So to the gamer gods, I formally and humbly apologize. To repent for my clip chimping sins, I will be live streaming Dark Souls this week. So make sure to press subscribe and hit
baby
that
crying.
bell,
That's so funny.
Piece of shit, you little shit.
They're cats in boxes.
The point of
I
that
bet that's
section
very
was
funny.
to document some of the problems with Debate Bros that I had missed in my initial video, where I promoted a bunch of people, some of them rather uncritically. My main points were: don't rely on debate streamers as your sole source of information, and don't take anything your gamer of choice says at face value. And these are things
that we say on
They're
chat
also
all the time, on
particularly
chat,
relevant to
on
today's
stream.
video. Now, when Xanderhall takes what we've said here and elevates it to the claim that we are against debate as a concept, well, this is just not true. I'm going to play some clips that refute this point now. Again, incredibly tedious, I apologize, but potentially helpful for context and also to prove
thanks, babe.
that we are
I got
coming
pizza
in good
rolls
faith
while
when
I was
we
in
criticize
America,
debate
y'all.
bros, pandering to
This
the
is a
good
lot.
faith gaze, if you will.
How many
Here's
did I
Hassan
cook?
from that same segment of his stream where he acknowledges the
Hell
utility
yeah.
of debate.
I'm not saying that like there is no value to responding or learning and recognizing the talking points that right-wingers engage in. Of course there is. People, especially
People
right-wingers
do that in
general,
essays
love
all
to
the
arm
time,
themselves
though.
with the same talking points that they're disseminating out of think tanks. Unless you're talking to like a total dumbass right-winger, you're gonna hear some fucking takes that you will hear from Ben Shapiro verbatim. So there is value to learning what those talking points are.
What's
and
that?
Understanding why they're
What's
fucking
that
stupid.
philosophy?
Here is Feek opening the Debate Bro section in Break Bread with some concessions.
And to be fair, if I had it in me to watch the 3 and 4 hour streams of these guys talking and playing video games, I doubt I would have anything negative to say about 95% of what they do on stream. And
Pausing. What is that one philosophy where as you get better at something, you get disproportionately confident about your knowledge in that field until you get better and realize you didn't know shit, and then you finally actually excel and reach expert? What is that philosophy? I feel like right-wingers are fucking, maybe left-wingers too, but I never really have to argue with left-wingers that much. But I feel like right-wingers have that really bad. They'll listen to Ben Shapiro and then think that all of a sudden they are fucking experts on the economy, when really they have learned a whitewashed fucking rich people written version of how the economy works and believe in things like trickle-down economics and stuff like that. Dunning-Kruger, you're so right. It's Dunning-Kruger, isn't it? I'm going to assume typo. I think it's Dunning-Kruger. I fucking can't talk. Anyway, good call. Good looking out. Thank you. There we go.
Understand that when you're talking for that long, you're liable to say some things that maybe you wish you hadn't have said. I don't individually think that these are bad people or even that they need to be ousted from the left. I think that very concept of ousting people is part of the problem, really.
Look at all that good faith. So much good faith. You're not even going to believe how much
Combination
faith is good
pizza
in there.
rolls.
Good faith all the time.
So
One of the
good.
things I hear thrown around the debate zone a lot is the concept of the left having a diversity of tactics. So different styles of content for different audiences, all with the intent of spreading leftism as far and wide as possible. And on a macro lens, the better we
It was
are
a typo,
at making
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
content, the more
Totally.
views it gets, and the wider audiences are cultivated, the better off we will be, because this will mean less people gravitating towards right-wing content and more people learning about socialism. And that all sounds good to me. No notes.
I'm so proud of you.
Thanks. Okay, well, one note. Is what we do on here an actual political force, or is it entertainment? If so, how can that be quantified? If not, just how much are we overvaluing our utility to society beyond carving out a new consumer demographic of leftist content? If the style of leftism I want to promote is different than your style, and it's
I
a style
understand the
that you don't
paradox
like,
of tolerance. I'd
is this
probably
gonna
vote
be
for
an
them on
issue?
that
Are you
alone.
going to use your large
I don't know. If
platform to
Trump all of a
strike me
sudden
down?
said I
You're vague
understand
posting.
the...
Are all forms
Oh,
of
you said if a
content
progressive
equal when it
candidate.
comes to
Sure,
learning?
sure,
No,
sure.
stop.
All right.
So many
I think
questions, no answers.
it would
for
be
now.
it would be a huge
Okay,
foot
that
in the
was
door for me.
weird,
Like
man.
What, have you
legit,
never heard of
genuinely,
the
it would be.
Socratic method?
Oh, okay. Yeah, never mind.
But I
like
do
it.
think
like
that
a
the
whole lot.
answer to that
Okay.
paradox is no
so good.
intolerance
All right.
should be
Oh my
tolerated.
God.
Obviously, people should be rehabilitated and should be
Briefly, I would like
given
to take a
as
deep
many
dive
chances as
into
it
an
takes.
interaction I had recently that I think might be helpful for illustrating some of the problems with online communication, specifically
Ooh,
regarding
hot.
the topic of debate. It's a little detour, but stay with me, okay? I'm gonna get better at writing one day. My ADHD pills are in the mail. So I tweeted this a few weeks ago, saying that basically I do not think white genocide is something that we should be debating. The long debunked white supremacist talking point about the white
thought that the
population
paradox
being
was,
eradicated through immigration. Gary, I need you.
Where's the
Hey,
line?
y'all.
Explain to
That-
them why this
I guess,
tweet
yeah,
is a
I'm being
problem
an
for
idiot.
you and your people over
I
there.
fully thought that it
Gladly.
was
in
like
the debate sphere, there's a conception
what
of
point
the
does it
archetypal
become
Twitter lefty that says things like human rights aren't up for debate, or
just
it's not my
outright
job to educate
intolerance
you.
all
This,
over
in
again
our
or
minds,
whatever.
inhibits the left's ability to argue for concrete policy positions, because if we can't have difficult conversations, we can't solve difficult problems. This might have been what Xander Hall was referencing when he was talking about you being unwilling to debate. This tweet plays into that stereotype and makes
Yeah,
you look
absolutely.
really dumb. That's me quoting them. I don't think you're dumb. No, I think you're a nice enough guy.
Thanks, Gary.
Maybe it'll be useful if you just clarify what you meant here.
Sure, Gary. Sounds good. As long as racist and fascist and other bad ideas exist, they should be challenged. Whether that's through debate, essays, one-on-one communication, iMessage, Tinder, Hinge,
Noah.
writing it on the ground in the woods, whatever. Someone pointed out the fact that Tucker Carlson goes on his show every night and uses white genocide rhetoric for hours on end in front of millions of people.
This is
That's a
true.
good point. It's
That
not
is
like it's
true.
not
He
happening.
just
As much
does
as I'd
that.
love to be able to
He ju-
say
that dude
white
just
genocide
makes
doesn't exist
Nazis.
and be done with it, because it doesn't. I
He
recognize
just
that for other
turns
people
dumb
in
people
different
into
areas of the
Nazis.
political
That's his
spectrum,
whole
it's
job.
not that simple, especially in the general American population. We still got a lot of work to do getting them caught up. Here's the original image that led me to tweeting this. This image to me is what sociologists might call sussy-wussy. Two white dudes on a live stream titled Debating White Genocide. Racism, is it really that bad?
Noah, I can understand why this looks problematic to you, but the thing is, those dudes were actually providing arguments against it,
Right.
and that's good, right?
That's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Somebody's
okay with
gotta
it.
do it.
I
Tyler.
suppose that's true. However,
Tyler
my
Carlson?
disdain for the idea of still having to debate things like white genocide comes from somewhere. Mainly, it comes from the part of me
I
that
will
feels
try to
like
keep
the
that
real
meme
world
alive.
significance of de-radicalization by YouTube content has a tendency to be overstated online. Or to put it another way, converting to leftism by consuming debate content can come with certain side effects. You might have had a de-radicalization experience thanks to someone like Vosh or Destiny or even Xander Hall, God help you, and that's great. Seriously, I'm not here to knock on that. The less alt-right, the better. But my concern is that by staying in these spaces, it becomes easy to maintain habits of consumption that can inhibit your ability to recognize the reactionary tendencies that you or the people around you might still hold.
Noah, echo chamber characteristics can be found in any online community, right? That's the basis of how they form, by bringing like-minded people together. There will always be issues like the ones that you mentioned.
That's true, but the debate bro ozone echo chambers seem to have a uniquely grating effect due to their highly charged environments, massive platforms, and self-appointed status as the gladiators of online anti-fascism.
One of the biggest problems back in 2014 and 2016 is there were no lefties online who weren't, insane to say, no, we don't actually believe that all white people are evil and we don't want to do this, and this that you claim we want to do, it wasn't until people like Destiny and Vosh and me and Chud Logic and Demon Mama and just like left-wing debate people came along that argued against those effectively, that you really started to see that narrative start to get pushed down.
There are a few examples I could use here to illustrate my point, but why don't we start with Xanderhall? Sorry, guy. There's a new lol cow in town, and it isn't a feminist gaming journalist this time. It's you, Xander, Alexander Hawley Ocasio-Cortez. Sorry, it's not funny at all, actually. The most viewed video on Xanderhall's channel is called How I Fell Down the Alt-Right Pipeline and Escaped. It's from December of 2019. We've seen this story before, but basically, he got into some Pepe shenanigans with his gamer friends and was eventually pulled out of it. The thing that pulled him out, in his case, was Destiny's debate with JonTron, where Destiny ended Nazism once and for all, or something like that. I don't know, I didn't watch it. He concludes this 48-minute video
Fuck Destiny, but that video is worth watching.
The most important aspect of online politics as he moves forward on his journey into leftism.
There's one thing above all of this that may be the most important thing, and that's optics. I know I'm not just speaking for myself when I say that the stereotype of an SJW is off-putting to most people. Don't let yourself fit into the mold of the strawman that reactionaries have made of us. If we
that dude is
their
just
expectations
racist.
And their stereotypes, they won't know how to counter us. Us leftists.
I'm sorry, me and Josiah were talking about this the other day. I have to pause. I have to pause and address JonTron right now. This motherfucker has the audacity to go on about how white people are being fucking genocided, okay? He's talking about how white people are being bred out of existence, as if black people are below him somehow, as if Mexicans are below him somehow or whatever. Like he's literally, like, everything that he says implies that. And Josiah and I were talking about this. How dare you fucking look at the people who sacrificed the fucking most to make this country, that country, I guess, the richest country in the world. The people who bled the most to make it as great as you think it is. If you think this country is so great, you need to be thanking people who were brought here and treated terribly, who bled for this country more than any white family ever fucking has. Okay? Go fuck yourself, JonTron. I hope you have several terrible days in a row. I'm not allowed to say that.
Drown out the loud minority that the right uses to make their hit pieces, they won't have any more material.
First of all, what did this person do to you? They look fine. They look good. I want a portable ball sack. Where do you even get that? I love this, though. He's like, yeah, you can be a leftist as long as you're not one of those filthy fucking degenerate SJWs, because they make us look very bad. I know this because right-wingers told me so. But let's cut him some slack. That was 2 years ago. He's probably grown up and become a big boy now. Let's see what he's up to.
One of the biggest common talking points from the right during this era was the left was too afraid to debate and defend their positions. Nobody on the left wanted to debate. The left at the time were high and mighty, BuzzFeed videos, feminist, like, video essay content, woke scoldy, high and mighty, preachy, non-funny, non-edgy, milquetoast, fucking not whitewashed, fucking sugar sweet, fucking condescending,
listen to this fucking idiot. I'm getting dumber listening to him talk.
With pink hair, okay, and blue hair, which obviously isn't a problem in and of itself, but it does kind of make the left, it makes gives right-wingers, makes them mad.
Oh, I feel like I've heard this somewhere before. This hyperfixation on optics is indicative of a framework of political thought that views the world through a lens of what the right will think of us, and little more. And that's what I take issue with. Basing your politics on practicality is a good thing, but when the crux of your argument rests upon
it would have been faster for him to have used a thesaurus
and silencing minorities.
If you prefer.
No, he said drowning out the loud minority.
Drown out the loud minority?
Sure, okay, my bad. Just save that one in the memory bank for later. Silencing minorities.
Drowning out the loud minority.
Okay, dude. When optics is the crux of the argument, this, to me, is in some ways indistinguishable from just being an anti-SJW person yourself, because it means that your online content Overton window always has to include the Gamergator perspective. And how much leftism can you really be getting done if that's the case? All of this makes a lot more sense when we look at where Xanderhall is getting this whole narrative from. In his video, he starts off by citing another YouTuber whose video's thesis forms the basis of his own, and the channel he cites just so happens to be an actual reactionary YouTuber whose primary content focus is dunking on e-girls and defending Leafy.
Oh my god.
So, what's going on there? This all
What a
reminds me of last
position.
year when he wouldn't stop saying ableist slurs despite his community's objections to him doing so. His reasoning was that gamer language such as this is more effective at bringing people over from the right. It only took about 12 debates and 7 response videos for him to eventually stop.
Hyperbole, strike 7.
He did stop, and that's good, but not without it requiring severe pushback from multiple different creators. Xanderhall does go on to say that optics aren't everything, and that it's okay to be trans or something.
Trans people with pink hair. But I'm more so talking about the attitude, not like the optics of who's advocating for what, right? That doesn't matter. I don't believe in the idea that, like, we should relegate certain identities to the sidelines because their identities are, like, bad optics. I don't believe in that, okay? Optics are important, but they're not everything, right?
But that was only after the Gamergate tirade spilling out of him.
Condescending,
Woke, scoldy,
trans people with pink hair.
So it's stuff like this that makes me wonder about the boundaries of what these communities are able to accomplish, and whether or not the high regard debate lords seem to hold themselves in is warranted. But you can decide that for yourselves. See the current state of the valiant white debate lord saviors of the American online left.
Stop it.
He'll probably complain about being clipped out of context, but I mean, the full video's there.
That was very
It's a
funny.
full video. You can watch the whole thing.
It was
also,
a good
if you
point.
Do go there. Don't
That
say
was-
anything mean, please. Just comment.
I suppose
Squid
it was
Gang
bad faith.
with
It was
6
bad
Gs.
faith,
But that's all I
but-
really
'cause it
needed
was
to say
ad
about
hominem,
that guy.
hey, but,
So,
like,
yeah, on to the important stuff now.
It wasn't
Title card.
incorrect.
Right now. Thanks.
Can you guys see my bird?
So now we've dealt with that sort of silly stuff, I want to move on to a more serious example of where I feel that these spaces are causing harm within the online left. I think it actually makes the most sense to start this story by briefly going back to Xanderhall reacting to something that I tweeted. I know, I'm making you watch me watch someone react to my tweets. It's disgraceful, but I promise I'm going somewhere with this.
And then this is the one that instantly, if anyone says Vosh is wrong in the Professor Flowers debate, there's just no saving them, okay? There's no saving them. They're a piece of shit, okay? Because they're defending genocide. There's just that is the dichotomy in that debate. You're either anti-genocide or pro-woke genocide. You're either pro-genocide or anti-genocide. And certain people on the left are pro-genocide because it looks woke in a certain way.
In a video game.
Okay, so if you have no idea what any of that meant, let me get you up to speed. The tweet he is referencing is talking about a conflict from a couple of months ago that happened between the large left-leaning streamer Vosh and the small leftist video essayist Professor Flowers. My tweet is saying that Vosh was in the wrong in that conflict. This interaction began when Professor Flowers made a video critiquing Vosh for conflating black nationalism with white nationalism in a prior debate. Vosh reacted to this video on his stream. He disagreed with her characterizations of him. Professor Flowers made a video responding to his disagreements. He reacted to that video on his stream and disagreed. He then invited her on the stream to discuss, which ended up turning into a debate. After this, she released one final video on it, and so did he. That's not where this ends, but for now, that summary should suffice. The debate was, well, a shit show, as both parties have since acknowledged, and as we'll get into in a moment. But the effects that it had on the online left content space were much more serious and malicious. One of these effects, as Xanderhall has so succinctly put it in his video, is that it's treated as orthodox thought in debate spaces that anyone who agrees with or defends Professor Flowers in any capacity is pro-genocide or sympathetic to violent ethnostates.
That is the dichotomy in that debate. You're either anti-genocide or pro-woke genocide.
Now, this idea comes from somewhere. It comes straight from the source, actually. From the overlord of the debate realm himself, Vosh. Since this debate nearly 6 months ago, Vosh has continued to characterize Professor Flowers as being an anti-white racist whose ideology inevitably leads to genocide. Here he is talking about it last week on his stream.
It's like Professor Flowers. I think that Professor Flowers is basically just an anti-white racist who stumbled into a misunderstanding of decolonial terminology. There are always bad people who will
This
mask
is
their
what he does. This
ideology
is
to
why I
assert
don't like
euphemism
him.
in adjacent positions. How many super far-right fasci types cloak their positions in the front of like nationalism? Not like hyper-nationalist, fascist, whatever, you know, but just like regular American nationalism. That's like the most common thing in the book, you know? It's not even like
It's like he takes a position against somebody who makes him look like a fucking idiot.
There's enough lore and content regarding this interaction
And then,
to
like,
last
finds
anyone
a box
who's
that they
interested
can
until
fit
next winter. So I'm just
shittily
gonna give my
into,
honest
and then
opinion and
pushes
summarize
that
it in
narrative.
the following way. I do not
Instead of
think
just
that anyone
admitting
that has
that he
actually
was
listened to
fucking
Professor
wrong.
Flowers' videos on this topic can make any of the claims that Vosh and his fans continue to make about about her, calling her an anti-white racist that is pro-genocide or pro-ethnostates, is a lie, as it was never the content of her arguments. It was a narrative crafted by the failings of the format of online debate streaming. More on that later.
We'll come back to this later.
But more importantly, thanks to the means by which this narrative was conceived, with Vosh arguing against decolonization and separatism using fear of retribution rhetoric.
It's all well and good to talk about living free of your oppressors, but when you break apartheid in South Africa, there are millions of white people living in that country. Like, what do? Do you just like ship them all out? Do you build camps? I mean, there's not really any way to do that without genocide, you know?
It has created a hostile space for black creators wanting to discuss issues like black separatism and black nationalism, and this in turn serves to reinforce the racial status quo of LeftTube, which is something that, especially as leftists, we should not be wanting to reinforce. In his retrospective video on the conflict, Vosh still fails to meaningfully recognize the distinction between black separatism and white nationalism, which was the main criticism of Professor Flower's original video.
Black separatism is essentially just the black version of white nationalism. It's just kind of couched in this, like, a different type of victim rhetoric. The end result tends to lead to ethnic supremacy and ethnostates, and I think that's bad no matter what.
Mind you, this is after like half a year of this being explained to him in varying degrees of simplicity, that this comparison between these two different things serves to ignore the historical context of these movements, and comparing it to Nazism is ignorant, to put it lightly. Gary, anything you want to say here, or can I just keep going?
Okay, well, I guess on the debate side, we did find Professor Flowers guilty of a few crimes.
Okay.
First off, racial essentialization.
What the fuck is that?
It's when you call white people colonizers. It's racist dog whistling.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
This should be disqualifying from the entire left. The idea that literally just admitting, by colonizer, I'm using it as a dog whistle for white.
Okay, give me the timestamp where she said it was okay to call white people colonizers.
What?
You don't have it, do you?
Not on hand.
Okay, well, no one does because it doesn't exist.
But she said white people are colonizers. How is this not an endorsement of
Who colonized the world, Gary?
Europeans.
Okay, and what did Europeans look like?
Like you.
So, white, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's okay to call white people colonizers. That's racist, hurts our movement, and pushes away potential new leftists.
Gary, I already explained this. That's not what Professor Flowers was saying. Her point was that colonization is an ongoing process, and choosing to ignore this fact makes it impossible for us to truly reconcile with its legacy. Anyone with a baseline understanding of these issues that saw the debate understood that this was the perspective she was coming from, and that Vosh trying to frame this as somehow being racist against white people was, to use an Among Us term, sus.
Why is the context of oppression irrelevant? Why is the context of who has power irrelevant?
Because, and I'll say it once more, and this is why you should really check your
Poetry Girl
racism, my
pops
friend.
in, says
White
something, and
people
leaves a bunch
and
of
colonizers
the time.
aren't the same group.
Moth. So that might be what's up.
The people who are white in South Africa are regular humans who live their lives. They are not physical.
Colonization is still happening. Like
physical.
America.
They are, yes,
It's
the
still a
concept
colony.
of colonization is happening. You do not then get to attack 6 million ethnic minorities in a country. That's what you're doing. You're taking a sociological problem and making it a race problem, which is, by the way, what conservatives do to black people.
In this debate, Vosh employed the argument of the fear of retribution because, as members of the gamer zone tend to do, he was testing the limits of her moral framework using an extreme hypothetical, which is a very normal thing to do. It's one of the most normal things you can do, actually.
So you're saying that hypotheticals have no value. What, are you too stupid to understand how they work?
Shouting
The
down a
ability to
black
imagine
woman
made-up
defining
scenarios and argue
racism.
about them
Like-
is what distinguishes sentient life from
Shut
animal.
up, dude. No, I don't have a problem with hypotheticals as a concept. I do, however, have a problem with people being framed as endorsing the extreme outcomes of these hypotheticals.
It's not even like anything
Takes a
PF said was
special
that extreme either.
kind
It's
of
ethnic
narcissism.
cleansing.
When they never would have argued for them in the first place had they not been brought
Takes
to
a
the table
special
by
white
Vosh or
fragility.
whichever debate lord they are encountering. In multiple conversations since, Vosh has attributed this escalation in rhetoric to Professor Flowers. Escalations like equating land back to genocide. Here he is talking with indigenous activist Morgan Khashoggi about land back. Morgan and Vosh are referencing Professor Flowers in this clip.
It feels like a very virtue signaling thing sometimes to be very
Yeah.
in favor of
Oh, yeah.
decolonization. Like, yeah, pro land back. But then when it actually comes to talking about these issues and actually like reconciling, like sometimes it can get, I think, a little bit, well, there's a clear dissonance. So
It's not that people are getting it so wrong. It's just we need to smooth some wrinkles out so that people don't start, using really inflammatory language to describe how we feel about our own problems.
The weird part is that Professor Flowers never spoke on these issues on the terms of genocide until she spoke with Vosh, which should be of no surprise to anyone familiar with Debate Bros. Over the course of all these interactions, the first time the word genocide is ever used is here at 4 minutes and 45 seconds into their debate, and it's not mentioned by Professor Flowers.
When you take a look at a lot of black separatist communities, there are a lot of underlying reactionary tendencies like homophobia, anti-Semitism. It seems like the fundamental bones are pretty similar, and then when you get into the logistics of creating an ethno-state, there's not really any way to do that without genocide, you know? Like, take South Africa, right? I mean, it's all well and good to talk about living free of your oppressors, but when you break apartheid in South Africa, there are millions of white people living in that country. Like, what do? Do you just, like, ship them all out? Do you build camps? I mean, it seems like this logic always leads down a really bad road.
Isolate that last quote. It seems like this logic always leads down a really bad road. That conception right there, that limit testing ideology, is precisely what causes the inflammatory language to start being used in these conversations. The same language that the actual land-backed activists said was causing so many problems.
Using really inflammatory language to describe how we feel about our own problems.
There's not really any way to do that without genocide, you know?
Discussing ideas in this manner by pulling them to the extremes in a combative context is especially damaging with topics like black separatism, a topic that the white online left has repeatedly demonstrating having very little knowledge about, and thanks to Vosh and others, very little willingness to inquire further. Vosh just says they're Nazis in reverse, and everyone's like, okay, cool.
Black separatism is essentially just the black version of white
poor
nationalism.
woman, yeah.
All of this has been explained ad nauseum in these videos, but the YouTuber Carr, he has a great channel by the way, go check him out. He explains why this is ignorant as clearly as I've seen
people
anyone
are still
do
like
in this clip from
hate-brigading
Professor
her
Flowers' last video.
over this
Let's
shit.
see if
She's
people
a lot
get
more
it this
successful
time.
now, thankfully.
147th time's the charm.
So she has like a bunch more
because a lot of people seem to get it
support
wrong
than she used to.
The best way, I think, to visualize it for anyone listening, separatism is basically self-determination and
by
creating
like
as much
just
space
having
away
an
from
ego,
your
and
oppressors as
it's
possible, allowing
a
you
part of
to
the
act
reason that
on
I think that he is a harmful
If
bad
that
dude.
creating space
Like
for
he's a
oppressors requires
bad dude.
violence, then it requires
He's
violence.
done.
He doesn't have to, though.
He's done good things, and I'm not going to take that away. Like he's done tremendous things for people who hope
and they killed 8 children, and they burnt down a block of townhomes. So this organization was not
in good faith on trans topics
in their town whatsoever. They literally just wanted to do what they saw, mind you, white people doing throughout the country.
But like he literally shouted
building
down
their own internal
a woman,
insular support
a black
networks
woman,
and dual power structures. That's ultimately what separatism is about: is creating that space
with
between
his
the oppressors and the
definition
oppressed
of racism,
so that they can act upon that self-determination.
And it was
it's never been
gross.
about ethnic cleansing.
It was
it's
really
been about
gross, y'all.
It's ethnic cleansing. I
and
don't
like
get it.
his
we saw the same
fan
problem
base
with
is so fucking
hypotheticals
shitty
arise in
that they
Vosh's recent
continue
debate
to
with
do
YouTuber
it.
Non-Compete,
You know what I
where he
mean?
posed this hypothetical
Because they
regarding
stand
Jews
him
being
so
overrepresented
fully.
in banking
The
during
white
the Weimar
guy,
Republic.
the cis
Whenever people
white
have been
guy.
enslaved, if they rise up and use violence to liberate themselves, then that is probably acceptable because they had material conditions in which they
the Nazis.
Rising up against the Nazis was acceptable. Yes.
No. After World War I, the Nazis claimed that Jewish bankers were holding the country down.
And that was false consciousness because that wasn't actually happening.
How can you tell?
That was false consciousness. Their ideology was not aligned with reality.
How can you tell?
Because Jews don't actually control banks in the world.
There was a disproportionate number of Jewish control of banks in Germany during the Weimar Republic.
All right, Vosh, we're done here. Thank you. Goodbye. This is that's all I need to hear.
You don't have an ethical... Oh my god. I'd run too if I was him. In case anyone's curious about what's happening there, that guy was actually too stupid to have a conversation with.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
why did I ever
totally.
watch this stuff? In
And
response
that
to
shit.
Non-Compete's
Ugh.
claim that no, the Jews did not control the
That
banks.
shit that
Jews
he
don't
does.
actually
This
control
person is too
banks in the
stupid.
world.
Just
Vosh
because they were
responds
bouncing
with,
out of
actually,
a
yes, they did.
conversation
There
where
was a
you were
disproportionate
starting
number of Jewish
to
control of
sympathize
banks in
with
Germany during the
Nazis,
Weimar Republic.
I don't think that that
We're
makes
done
him
here.
He
stupid.
doubles down on this claim in a follow-up video days
God,
later by
fuck
arguing
him.
that this is a statistically accurate
I'm not allowed
reading
to
of
say that.
history.
The critical thing here is that for me saying that there was a disproportionate amount of Jewish control of the banks in the Weimar Republic, a bunch of people online are calling me a Nazi. Like everywhere.
Keep each
It's
other,
a
like-
whole meme thing. And the weird thing is,
And I understand a lot of people are going to be like, but Doxy, like he brings people to the left. Okay, excellent. Keep him fucking accountable then.
There was.
Keep
The
this
reason
motherfucker
Non-Compete
accountable
hung up
because he
here
has
wasn't
more
because
power than
his
he's willing to
ethical
fucking
system had been
acknowledge.
exposed
Even though
or
he
whatever
does
these
have
guys
the
are always
ego
talking
that
about.
comes
You don't
along
have
with
an
it.
ethical... Oh my
Fuck
god.
him.
But because
I don't
even even
fucking
engaging
care.
with this claim that Jews
He does
controlled
just
the
as much
banks
harm.
at any level of historical specificity cedes the entire argument to the fascists. Whether they did or not should be irrelevant. The real question is, why would this matter? I'm dropping a quick
Don't be a
tactical
fucking
Zizek nuke here
stan
because
like
it's relevant
your
regarding the
right-wing
topic of
counterparts. It makes
debates
you
with
look so
racists and
fucking
fascists.
stupid.
Why is this false? Because the Nazis here, even if it were to be true, but it wasn't, of course, they lied in the guise of truth. Because the true question is not, is it true what they are claiming about the Jews? The true question is why, in order to sustain their politics, they need this fantasy of the Jew. Why they need this phantasmatic figure of the Jew. And incidentally, it's the same, I think, even today with Iraq. Here I think that many fake leftists fell into the trap of accepting the terms of the debate. The true question is not, is it true what they claim about Saddam? The true question is a totally different one, is what kind of new logic of hegemony, new world order is established in this way?
See you later, Dragon Rana. Have a good one.
Even to accept these terms and then to argue, you put yourself into a totally idiotic position, you know. When there you have to argue, oh, but it's not so bad, some people nonetheless supported Saddam. That's not our debate, my God.
No, I don't think Vosh is an anti-Semite, but I wouldn't be terribly upset at anyone who got this impression after seeing Vosh uncritically repeat this false
hold on,
Nazi
give me a
talking
moment.
point and then double down on it, or if they'd encountered...
All right, so in reality, a leftist is somebody with more progressive ideals. The furthest political ID on the left is communism, where the further to the right you go, the farthest right political ideology or identity is fascism. Okay? Republicans are supposed to fall on the middle right of the spectrum. Conservatives and Republicans are supposed to be like rightish, right wing, right? And leftists, left wing, is where the Democrats are supposed to be. Well, in reality, what has happened is that the right has pushed further and further right to where they're actually starting to push genuine, real fascism now. And the Democrats are so caught up in capitalism that it's more in their best interest to bow down to the Republicans than it is to stop them. They want to win, but they also want, they want to win seats and stuff like that, but they also want to not be able to win legislation a lot of the time. That's why we have people like Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. Does that make sense? They're disarming separation of church and state. They absolutely are. Like, literally, they are turning America into an evangelical theocracy. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, please ask. And also, I just want to say I'm knowledgeable about this, but I'm not an expert. So it's in your best interest to read more on your own. And I did insert my observable opinion into my explanation there, but I think that it's worth you looking into and deciding what you think. I want to move to Prague. I absolutely cannot afford that. I have $0. Ugh, I'm sorry to hear that. Why Prague?
The legions of Vosh
out
fans
of curiosity,
spending hours
not out of
online
judgment,
after the debate, arguing that yes, actually the Jews did control the banks before the Holocaust because my favorite streamer said so. It's these sorts of nonsense, magic, fairy tale wonderland hypotheticals that have no use outside of the performative debate context that end up leaving a lasting impression on the internet.
That's okay. So I'm pausing again. I'm so sorry. The reason that is happening
was the one spreading Nazi misinformation. Part of my issue.
The reason that is happening is because of ego. This is what this video is about leftists being a problem. Like the debate bros within the left or like the BreadTube sphere. The problems that they create. It's ego. They are so unwilling to concede their points, that they will argue bullshit that is A, wildly untrue, and B, like right-wing rhetoric a lot of the time in order to try to like win the argument. It's a problem. It's a problem. And that's what this video is about. I'm going to start a religion that says I don't pay taxes and I'm allowed to use my phone while driving. Yeah, that's why I was confused. Yeah. Yep, I definitely understand why. It's wild out there. It's fucking wild out there. Cool. Okay, I'm caught up. Okay, excellent. If you have any other questions, by all means, feel free to ask. But again, I cannot encourage you enough to listen to people who are smarter than me, experts. Please listen to historians, to not politicians, but political scientists. And you'll learn more than, history textbooks. Josiah and I have been talking about purchasing some history courses, like some homeschooling history courses, and just like brushing up on that shit. One, because it's fascinating, and two, because it can't hurt, right? Also, unrelated point number 3, it's just really fun for me to listen to Josiah talk about things that he's excited about. It's like it's one of my favorite things in this life is to listen to him talk about shit that he gets excited about. Anyway, here we go. You can't buy any books till you get Lon's book. Facts. I have Lon's book. I have it. We've been waiting for Cheese King to be here to read it. I have it. It's ready to go. It's downloaded on my ancient Kindle.
With debate streams is that misinformation like this is so easy to spread, yet so difficult to correct. It's why this video has to be 2 fucking hours long and take weeks of work to make. They stream for 8 hours a day and say shit like this, completely ignoring the real world complexities of these issues and reducing them to fun little rhetorical games to be used for dunking on other YouTubers.
That guy was actually too stupid to have a conversation with.
Then all their fans start spreading this shit around the internet uncritically and wonder why
Rain,
people call them
Nazis. You should look into homeschool packages in your area. Anybody can buy those.
Number of Jewish control of banks in Germany during the Weimar Republic. This is really weird to me.
I've seen an accusation thrown around the internet that Vosh is a Pedialyte drinker because of a number of older clips from his stream where he brings up things like chimichangas, Pedialyte, not unlike the examples we just looked at. Now, Gary, I need you, man.
Hey.
So straight up, these clips are weird as fuck.
Hi,
so
Brad.
weird.
How are you?
And wrong as arguments. I'm not going to play them because I am hanging on to a single shred of hope that this video will still be able to get monetized. It probably won't, though. But, Gary?
Well, despite Noah's objections to these clips and their
that
apparent
is not
sussiness,
his
there
last
isn't
name
anything
for real,
in them
Mom.
that would merit the claim that Vosh is a
Pedialyte drinker.
That is a very serious accusation to be making, and to make it without solid proof is dangerous, and we should not normalize doing that.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
So at some point in time, Vosh stopped using these extreme examples involving children in hypotheticals, probably because using them only encouraged people to make these spurious but not out of nowhere accusations against him. So if he understands that handling these sensitive topics carelessly can have negative consequences and has adjusted his behavior accordingly in the past when they've affected him, why can't he do the same for others? As we've seen, the effects are real. Professor Flowers is the target of a harassment campaign spurred on by Vosh with his use of this hypothetical about the fear of retribution. Non-Compete was accused of technically defending Nazism because Vosh, through his little rhetorical game, justified this treatment in their eyes. He is either choosing to ignore these facts or just doesn't care.
Only one
and
of
both
your
of
ears,
these should
both
be
of my
unacceptable.
ears. I have
right?
really small ears.
There's a great thread from a streamer
usually
called
have to get the
Ask
ones
Vera
that, like,
runs
hook
through the
around,
standard procedure of
and even
interactions with
those,
debate
it's
streamers and how they are a recurring problem.
I kind of want to get the ones that like press into
reactionary
your
debaters smuggle
bones,
assumptions into
and you just hear it
hypotheticals,
inside
hoping you
your
get
head
distracted
from the
with the
vibrations on
hypothetical
your
rather than challenge
skull.
the assumption. This is precisely what
But I
happened to
hear that the
Professor
sound
Flowers
quality
regarding
is,
the
like,
topic
weird
of
and
genocide,
not
and this
great.
distraction has forced her onto her back foot ever since. Here she is talking about it in her final video on the topic.
So there are a lot of people who are saying that I'm genocidal, and I just want to clear up what I mean. mean. What I mean to say is that there is no amount of violence that colonized people can enact towards their colonizers that will ever compare to what colonizers have done to them. That compares to the millions of kidnapped and enslaved people, to the thousands of years of history and way of life that has been wiped out, to the languages that have been lost, to the entire caste system that has been created, to the relocation and murder of millions, to the subjugation of entire nations, and to the subjugation of profit of stolen land.
She is right. Do I need to explain that further? Hopefully not, because I'm not gonna.
It's not my job to educate you.
But I want you to watch how Vosh reacts to this clip on his stream.
There is no amount of violence that colonized people can enact towards their colonizers that will ever compare to what colonizers have done to them. That compares.
What does that mean? First of all, that's not what she meant, because that's a totally different concept. Is that even, like, relevant? What does that have to do with what we're talking about?
History and way of life that has been wiped out, to the languages that have been lost, to the.
Also, doesn't this kind of support my argument? This seems very strange to me, because it feels like the implicit suggestion is that the violence that colonized people do is okay, because it could never be enough. You know what I mean?
So Professor Flowers says these things cannot be compared, and attempting to do so downplays this very real history of oppression. Again, an objectively true statement. And to this, Vosh responds, "You claim to not want to do white genocide, yet you cite historical oppression, which could be used to justify white genocide. Huh. Curious. Very curious indeed. Checkmate, Nazi." So, this is racist, right? Am I allowed to say that yet?
I think what you mean to say is that while this individual act may not be racist, the way this flow of information has been set up has led to a racist outcome. That outcome being Professor Flowers discussing historical oppressions here is seen as a potential justification for retributive violence, which was never her point and not how these claims should be viewed, especially from anyone claiming to be on the left.
Yeah, so it's racist.
Okay.
Thanks to their debate, which in effect served to legitimize this fear of retribution rhetoric, a white supremacist narrative is being repeated all over the place, making it so that topics requiring nuanced discussion, like black separatism and black nationalism, are framed as being not only inherently violent, but equivalent to Nazism. If we take a quick peek at some of the chats from that stream, it's quite interesting. Mom said it's time for me to be the colonizer. It's a pro-genocide argument, basically saying that the image of white people in chains while MLK smiles in the sky is based. That is her saying that a white genocide is justified. So that means reverse genocide, good. Leftism, it's good.
That's
Leftism,
absolutely
we love it.
not what she's saying.
And way of life that has been wiped out, to the languages that have been lost, to the entire caste system that has been created.
Our resident critical race theory scholar, Xander Hall, elaborates here.
I'm gonna say this right now. I'm gonna call it out. When people say woke genocide to refer to like the black separatist stuff, it's kind of racist. I'm gonna be honest here, because it's not woke. All you're doing is putting woke before something that has to do with brown people because it has to do with brown people. It's not woke. There's nothing about what Professor Flowers or Black Hammer or any of these people advocate for that is woke. Being woke is advocating for integration and cooperation, okay? A multicultural, multi-ethnic, multiracial movement to fight against the systems of oppression in this country that put certain groups of people down, right? That is woke. Segregation, even if it's, well, we're black people and we want segregation, that is not woke. Just because brown people are doing it doesn't make it woke.
Oh, that's just great stuff. We love it. Leftism is when reverse racism is the scariest thing you can think of. Mom, can you pick me up, please? They're not being colorblind. There's a good clip from the YouTuber Bad Empanada that explains how ridiculous it is to try to make this comparison.
Ooh,
so imagine a different
world
where white people did all the same thing.
I don't care whether or not I'm allowed to say that he just actually does be a harassing dick
for centuries and centuries of oppression, for enforcing apartheid upon us for 100 years. We want you gone. Would that be the same thing as Nazism? No,
like
not
that
even
much.
Close, man. Truly unbelievable.
Named
And
aristocracy.
Do I think that would be an ideal solution? Also no. Is that what I would want? Also no. Can I understand it? Absolutely yes.
Did you really just cite Bad Empanada in your video?
Yeah.
It's like you've lost me. That guy is a bad person. Everybody knows that.
Me citing a clip of Bad Empanada saying something that's objectively true is not an endorsement of everything that he has done on the internet. Please stop being a fucking baby. Just look at the meme, okay? Look at the meme.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's really
aristocracy will give up her integrity for
swinging
pick
around
me
your
shit all the
baby's
time,
crib
and it's
so you can
a
gently
bummer
fall asleep.
because she's so smart.
Now, from my perspective, Vosh seems to be defensive about these ideas because he is operating on some underlying assumptions about who Professor Flowers is, assumptions that were created when they had their debate. There's an extremely relevant video that I'd like to plug here. Debate Me, How to Know Things on YouTube from Scottish.
You know what? Okay. I told Josiah that I'd be done at midnight, and there's still a lot left of this video. So I think that what we're going to do is we will take it back to the beginning of this segment right here. And that's where we'll start tomorrow. I am going to call it here. I would love so much if y'all would take a look at the Discord and consider joining. It's discord.gg/fartslide. I would like it very much if I could get y'all to... Fuck me. Don't take that out of context. I would like it very much if I could get y'all to look at my Twitter and consider following. It's just twitter.com/ZER0DOXY. And then I have a Patreon and a new patron, J. Rodimus. Thank you so much. Also, thank you to Quinn Kenobi, Laura Cody, Katie Bailey, and Big Wolf Paws. I appreciate it so much. We will be moving that over to Ko-fi eventually. It's just I have not had the fucking time in the day to put that shit together. I'm so sorry. But I'm going to go ahead and run ads on the way out. Don't hesitate to bounce out if you don't feel like watching that. But if you do, it's a free way to support me. It only costs 3 minutes of your time and not $1 more. So, yeah, if you haven't followed, by all means, please do. If you have a Prime sub laying around and it has no home, we will happily take that here. Again, no pressure. Always make sure that you're looking out for yourself first. I will be back tomorrow at quotation marks 8 p.m. Nova Scotia time. That is 6 p.m. Central. And I think that's it. There was something called the Doxy. Oh yeah, people sent me that a bunch of times. Okay, anyway, I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one. Thanks for hanging out. Bye 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 bye.